Hey, it's the Low Life Podcast.
Do you know anything about hackers? Can you jam to the songs of cowboys and cyberspace? Ever read Neuromancer? Ever experienced the new wave? Next wave? Dream wave? Or cyberpunk? I didn't think so. It may be. It's a world where you don't feel the same thing. Not what you look like. A world where curiosity and imagination.
I'd buy that for $1. Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Hack the planet! Shut up and get in the car!
Go away, Baton.
Yeah, it's the second spooky season episode.
Yeah, coming out after October. Woo.
Yeah, it's midnight. It's Halloween.
It's All Saints Day. Happy All Saints Day to those of you who celebrate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
coming
Right.
to you live, recorded live this Devil's Night.
Thank you. I was gonna say that if you didn't. So, this is the Low Life Podcast. I'm Coinopsimus Gilla Spooky. I'm trying. Joined by Dan
Yeah, how you doing, y'all?
and Zero
Welcome back, horrific listeners.
and Shadowlink.
The war on Christmas has begun again. Just remember, they fired the first shots.
It's not all Mariah Carey's fault. But
She'll-
yeah, and,
She'll pay for her crimes, okay?
And I'm totally going to write Happy Holidays in Sharpie on my Starbucks cup.
there's a non-zero chance she's gonna pay for her crimes with that grunge album she keeps teasing.
Oh, God. Ooh, boy.
Dying.
She is going to get
Yeah,
roasted so fucking hard.
Miss
like,
me with
what?
that. Miss
I
me
would-
with that.
Hey, that's one of those weird oddities that it's just, it's like Christopher Lee doing death metal.
Get
Oh,
out
yeah.
of my head. I was thinking the same thing.
Like,
Except that was actually kind of awesome.
That's
Sure.
the
This-
thing. It may not
I
be
haven't
good, but
heard-
it will be interesting.
This
I haven't
isn't
heard a
like
note of this. I haven't heard
this
a
isn't
note
like
of this, and I'm
garbage doing an industrial album. This is fucking Mariah Carey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she wrote the first massively memorable Christmas song in decades,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we just can't stand it. Like it needs to go away. It's
Yes.
do a new one. Grandma got run over by a reindeer happened for a lot of years, and then this. And I thought she was covering a song when I
Yeah.
heard it because it has that classic feel. Why are we talking
Yeah.
about this? What the fuck? We are the Low Life Podcast.
It's-
We talk about cyberpunk dystopian shit. And I can't think of anything more cyberpunk dystopia than like
Then Christmas
her
season?
face everywhere.
Oh, the Mariah Carey.
Yeah. God. Oh, man.
Still,
I hate it. I hate
There
it.
is
I
the
hate
game.
Christmas.
There is the
I'm a
game that
Grinch.
swirls around Last Christmas, but there is no game that swirls around her song because you lose
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah.
Did you go outside? You'll fucking hear it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's why they play the game. They're like, oh, Wham again. No, Wham's fine. Who gives a shit about Wham? Wham
Yeah.
gives a fuck. Like the more disturbing song is, do they know it's Christmas time at all? You want a dystopian fucking song?
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus
Yep.
Christ!
Sure.
How did that many people get involved with that? Anyhow,
Hi.
we have a website called Neon Dystopia where we have a bunch of fiction. We have
Yeah.
2 stories coming out a month. Check it
And
out.
we're aspiring to do nonfiction again someday, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's been a year.
I mean, yeah, it's been.
It's been a
It's
year.
like, what is there to be said that we haven't said already?
Yeah, we just want to get through the fucking election and,
Yeah.
make preparations for the inevitable backlash regardless. So it's,
Yeah.
As far as nonfiction, it's just someone submitting the lyrics to everybody knows that shit's fucked.
yeah,
Or,
Yeah.
just look out your window.
Yeah.
listen to some Clash.
Yeah.
No, I think secretly we just don't want to produce any content that might send us off to the coming gulags in Montana or wherever they're going to
Yeah.
put them.
Yeah.
We'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. One way or
I
the other.
know. Yeah, we'll be like picking potatoes for Nazis. Anyway.
Well, we were going to make an endorsement, but we decided, we'll just stay away from
We're undecided.
Endorsements all together.
God, oh yeah, that conversation blew up for a minute.
What was that word that Bezos coined to conceptuality?
No,
Did you hear that?
No, who gives a fuck? Fuck him.
Yeah,
I hate him.
like-
Fuck Bezos.
Complexificate. That was it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh man, just don't.
Just
Don't.
Yeah. Don't. We also, this is, the Low Life Podcast. We have a Patreon. If you like this sort of banter, that money doesn't go toward it. We just do this fucking anyway. The money goes toward paying the writers.
Yeah.
We're doing a real big push here because we'd certainly like to get a few more subscribers going on. And
And as always, thank you guys for your support. Every dollar that you send us goes a long way.
yeah, it does.
And if you can't spare $1 or $5 or $10,000 tax deductible, then recommend us to a friend. Recommend us to a friend. Send them a link to an episode you think they might enjoy and build the listenership.
Get those
Absolutely.
"Hello, my name is" stickers and write the Low Life Podcast on it and put it in annoying places everywhere. Any bathroom, like that's where we go. Like right on the towel.
If you want to be
dryer.
extra cyberpunk, you hand draw the QR code.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. I don't know. I haven't talked about this in a while. I DJ, so check
Yeah.
that out. There's
Oh,
about
right.
over 500 fucking sets. It doesn't cost anything. You just click on the music output. There's a link to the page, and it all sorts itself out. They're not all great, guys.
Most
of
pretty
our
good though.
most of our releases do have a DJ countdown prior to them.
Yeah,
Those are
you
always
probably
pretty nice.
just got done listening to whatever the fuck I did just a minute ago. So
Uh,
yes,
time be flowing.
it's interesting. I still don't know what I'm spinning yet as we're recording this on Devil's Night. So
And yeah, we got a Discord. Dan's got another podcast, Cyberpunk
Yes.
Yes.
Librarian.
Yes.
Cyberpunklibrarian.com.
Yes.
I promise there are new episodes coming.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And yeah, you can if you want to talk to me for whatever reason, I am on the Discord, just kicking it. So
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
socials, but I don't think we care about them anymore.
yeah. We
Find me
kinda-
on the Discord if you want to find me fighting
Yep.
me more.
Yeah.
We're
The most important war is the war of the mind.
we're discussing what our first ad is going to look like
We'll
because we won't take advertisers, but fucking we'll make a little weird blip about our bullshit.
put some out.
A blip for
Yeah. There you go.
it was just going to be like me screaming on TikTok for 30 seconds, like cut.
Oh,
So like all of TikTok.
I don't know if you
Pretty
saw
much.
the memo, but there is a problem with the blipverts.
Did it make your head explode? Or
We
did
won't
it
go
just-
into it online live here. We won't do that.
Well, I hope our NSA handlers have a good time listening to us.
Save it for the production meeting.
Exactly. We're
Let's
totally
just,
secure production meeting. Anyway, yeah.
let's
so
only
we
admit our crimes in the production meetings, okay?
True.
Speaking of crimes,
Oh.
We got a couple of movies to talk about, and this
Yeah.
first one is
Segue.
about. This first movie is about the worst Halloween candy ever.
Yeah, two more creepy movies for you. Two more creepers.
yes.
Yeah.
This one's not exactly like a horror movie, but it's Crimes of the Future, which is written and directed by David Cronenberg. This is, for me, the month of Cronenberg.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Starring Viggo Mortensen.
There you go.
Starring Viggo Mortensen and Lea Seydoux.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
And Kristen Stewart.
oh yeah, Kristen Stewart's in it.
I mean,
too.
there's some names in this, which is really weird.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But only 3.
Mm.
But
Mhm.
why is it? Why is that weird? I mean, David Cronenberg's a pretty out there kind of.
Well, this and the other
I would
movie.
want to be in a David
Yeah.
Cronenberg. Are you fucking kidding me?
This and the other movie both have this amazing feature that they share, and it's that on paper this looks amazeballs.
Oh, I mean, if you read the plot on Wikipedia, you're like going, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
And then you
I mean,
watch it.
it's a future biopunk noir, guys. It
Listen,
is.
you can call it whatever you want.
Can I use that language on the show? I mean,
I look. there's a lot of good things to be said about this film. As always, the practical effects are incredible. The cinematography is like bleak. It almost sucks life out of you.
Yeah.
This film
Fair
is
Which we'll have a
yeah.
callback to later.
this film is a horror movie in the sense that it is going to make you uncomfortable the entire time you're watching it.
Oh yeah.
And
Because Cronenberg.
Listen,
I'm
the
not
real
going to say this is not a bad film. This is a film that I absolutely think you should watch at least one time.
Mm.
But having said that, I have notes.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely
All
worth a
right.
watch. I feel like there's certain parts that could have been executed better, and I also feel like there's something about the movie, and again, we're probably going to get into a little bit, but it was filmed during COVID. I think that
Mhm.
really comes through in a way that
Yeah.
at first I couldn't put my finger on it, and then when I figured that out when I read that, I was like, oh, okay, that's
There's like a filthy sterility to the film.
Yes.
It is a
That
film
is a
of
good way.
contrast.
There is so much
Yeah.
dirt in this movie, guys. It's
Yeah.
gonna make you it is going to make you uncomfortable because
Yeah.
there are no sanitary standards anymore.
Yeah.
The
garbage
real-
strike for decades,
The real horror is microplastics.
Mhm.
all
It's-
along.
You are the microplastics.
I have so many microplastics
Alright, so-
in my body.
At this point, on my own action
It's
figure.
in your balls.
There is a DJ set called "Microplastics Are Stored in the Balls." It's a pretty good one. I do like that one. Anyway, so proceed.
all right. So we're not gonna do a play-by-play for this one because
God no, it would literally take 3 minutes. This is
Yeah.
here's the thing about
Okay,
this.
you know what?
There isn't not a ton of shit happens to get you from this point where the movie starts and you don't know what the fuck is going on to a wrapped up and satisfying ending. Like you get to the end of it and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the moment my brain went, you made me sit through all of that.
just for that to
I
happen.
think what might be a little challenging is, well, first of all, you motherfucker, you made me watch The Conversation twice, which is also a very slow movie
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
I mean, I will say this, that the movie out the gate starts hard.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it does.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think that this is like Cronenberg's probably his most personal movie.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a whole lot of focus on the plot itself. It's the meta narrative, I think, the way that it comes across to me anyways, is that it's about Cronenberg and his relationship with art.
There's a lot in there about the art scene and getting ahead in it, and I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, this
agree with
movie
that.
does have a lot to say.
And
You
those
just have to
people-
listen.
At the exhibitions are absolutely people he knows personally.
Oh yeah,
Not the
Gotta
be.
actors or anything,
Yes,
but like
gotta be.
what they
but
say,
like they
what
are
do, how
based
they act.
on
Yeah, this is not too different. I mean, I've been to a couple of art shows, and it's like I've been lucky because the ones I've been to have not been that douchey.
Yeah.
But there's always that guy.
Yeah, man. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I went to art school. He nailed it. Like, there's
Yeah,
that's not all that scene is, but there is that element to that scene. And just like,
Yeah,
it rises to the
What
top.
does he say? Are we talking about the scene with the guy with the ears?
I just mean the art scene in general, but yes, that scene.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, right,
and
right,
any of
right.
his
Anytime.
performances, any of the performances that he does in public.
What does he?
Yeah.
What does Saul say? He says, "It's good if you like escapist propaganda."
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
all
So-
that guy with all the so there's a dude and he's got a bunch of ears all over.
He's a
him.
performance artist.
Right. And that
Yes.
the performance art in this place is just like.
Well, okay. Let's back up and
Yeah.
give it more context. So this is a world, and it's never really fully explained why, but
Mm-hmm.
apparently humankind has evolved the ability to just be immune to all disease, like all bacteria. It's never really explained.
And
I think they
also-
just say that people are just changing.
Isn't it that they can't feel pain?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's part of it because I
Yeah.
think if you and that gets a little dicey because it's
Right.
like how where
Yeah,
I
one of the big
understand-
things about leprosy.
Yeah.
No, I mean seriously, is that you don't feel anything on the surface. So you
Yeah.
cut
Right.
yourself, you bleed out.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Well, and,
Because you won't even be able to feel wetness. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah.
So that I get.
Well,
there aren't many people left. I mean, if people can't
Yeah,
put
yeah,
there's
this
a
is a
ton
very-
of people who like fell down
very-
some steps.
this is a
Society
very,
does not seem okay.
empty
Right.
feeling movie. Like, I'm sure that part of it is because
Empty,
of
that's
COVID,
good.
and also because, like, when you have an indie film, there's only so many people that you can pay to have on screen at certain points, so it does feel a little desolate.
And the
Well, I
other
mean-
thing is he leaned into the fact that he was filming during COVID.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's already bleak. He's already working with a skeleton crew, micro budget for what he
And-
typically does.
Mhm.
Right away, I'll already say that establishing shot in the beginning with that's the Concordia, right? That cruise ship that capsized.
I think so. Yeah.
That sets
Yeah.
the whole tone for the whole.
well, I mean,
movie.
it's
Yeah.
the same boat from the end of Videodrome, so that's how you know that this is basically. I mean, if it's not a literal sequel, then it's a spiritual sequel for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
I definitely feel like, here you have like, well, blah blah blah. It's the new flesh, guys, and now we know what that is. He's
Yeah.
showing you what that is in this movie. And
Yeah, I mean-
excruciating detail.
yeah, and Cronenberg's whole thing is his body horror is. It's always a metaphor for
Yeah.
the shape of his mind. Everything that he puts into flesh is the shape of something that appears in his mind.
Yeah, like existence. He's talking about how like we're internalizing our
Yeah.
fucking entertainment. We are gamifying our lives basically before anybody was using that kind of terminology.
Yep. And in this movie, like, the metaphor is very clear because the main character, Saul Tenser, played by Vigo, is like he grows organs, like
That's a great
extraneous
name, by the way.
organs. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, that's a great sci-fi name.
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's a really good performance. Like
Yes.
outside of
rules.
his usual wheelhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else notice that David Cronenberg has like a penchant for like casting very sinister, kind of similarly, like people who look kind of similar to David Cronenberg? Because he did that with Videodrome as well. He also looks like the main character, Max, looks
see
very, very much like David Cronenberg. And I think if you kind of squint, Vigo kind of has very similar features.
Very
the-
angular. No, I see.
Yeah,
what you're
very
saying.
angular.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
see
without
what
a beard, he is a very sinister looking man.
And this isn't even their first movie together, isn't it?
Yeah. No,
They did Eastern Promises.
Eastern
right?
Promises and A History of Violence.
Right.
Both
right.
excellent movies.
Mhm.
Not under our purview, but excellent movies nonetheless.
Fucking love History of Violence. And
Dude.
also,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
the naked knife fight in Eastern Promises is possibly the tensest fucking fight scene I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, yeah. Vigo just always has to get naked in his movies.
Mhm.
Who's
Anyway.
complaining?
Yeah, exactly.
It's nobody. Yeah. No,
Oh, yeah,
Vigo's the shit. He's been a great actor for a long
Mhm.
time too. He's literally the best devil. I'm gonna say this right here. He is the best
Yeah.
devil in
Yeah.
cinema.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He did
I haven't seen
Lucifer
that movie,
real
but
good.
Oh man.
He fucked
I've
me
seen
up
his
first
little-
time I saw him.
Yeah.
I love
Big
you,
time.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Oh fuck
Creepy
you,
as
dude.
hell. Creepy as hell.
Oh
And
man.
like all true love that withered on the vine.
Oh man.
Oh my god, that fucking movie.
Okay,
What's
I'm
the
watching
prophecy,
this
folks?
weekend.
Yeah.
That's
Prophecy.
Watch the prophecy.
Finish
Movie
off
rules.
Halloween season with the prophecy for sure.
Jesus Christ. That's not
We
enough
should have been
review,
talking
but we
about
are
that movie.
absolutely going to talk about that movie one day, man. It is so fun.
Well,
that
I-
movie is so fun.
I can bring the religious allegory if you like.
Yeah.
I've got a box of it over here behind me.
God.
So, anyways,
But
the way
Tenser's deal, let me just is he can grow organs, but I guess in this world a lot of people can because there's an organ registry. Walk me through that one.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think the idea is that people have been kind of spontaneously growing new organs in response to something that like nobody's really able to quantify.
Yeah.
They don't really know why this is happening. They just think that it's because of. I'm just gonna go with like some sort of genetic modification that gives everybody like a healing element in response to all of the disease.
That seems like it's got to be part of it.
Yeah. Something went wrong.
There's definitely an allegory to the appendix here. How like we didn't know what the fuck the appendix did for so long, and we just called it. It's just extra.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh no, actually, you need that. It's really important, in fact."
Oh, and shit, I forgot what I was saying. Something about it's also implied that this is like so long after. Like they at one point, the techs, what's the company name? Lifeformeware techs. They say that this autopsy bed, the Sark autopsy bed, is from before their time, which means that this has been happening for a long time. This might be like 2060s, 2080s.
Could be even like 2300.
Yeah,
but it doesn't matter because they live in this like timeless, broken down.
This movie is very analog. It's not flashy at all. It all looks like, it looks like Prayer of the Roller Boys in a lot of ways. That's kind of what that movie reminded me of.
Yeah, even more basic because like there's almost nothing electric even. Like when it goes to the organ registry, everything's on paper. There's like a back room full of moldering documents.
Yeah, they do not have computers. They have like 2 TVs and shit like that. But yeah, so people are growing organs and they have to get them removed, and which is super easy. They literally mentioned that there's a thing called desktop surgery. You can do that now because it's like the chances of failure are of like actually killing someone just by cutting them open and digging through them and pulling things out is like. It's just low at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's
imagine getting
standard.
so good at it that you're like boiling water for ramen levels of familiarity with the process.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Vigo and Lea Seydoux' characters. That's what they do. It's performance art. You know, that's why they use this autopsy bed to cut them open and remove these extraneous organs, which is a pretty clear metaphor for like Cronenberg's like needing to purge all the crazy shit that comes into his head through his movies.
And then
at least that's how I read that.
Her character Caprice, his assistant, she's also the show
she's
is
like the brains basically behind the operation.
He seems to grow these organs,
Literally.
and then she is an ex-surgeon who like tattoos them inside of him, and then the show is they take the organs out and display the tattoos.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just okay. That right there took me a little while to wrap my head around.
That's that whole bullshit like add a step and call it art thing.
Yeah.
Like you just take it out and tattoo
it. No, she has to tattoo it inside.
I got to do it it's the process that you're paying for. You fucking
Anybody can do that.
Yeah. they want to see him get like his chest cavity get torn open. Yeah. Them dig around for.
I guess that's what you do when you're out of ideas. I mean, it's
just like a 5th kidney or a gallbladder.
I will say, what a show! Vigo sells it. That first time they get him in the Sark, and he's like licking his lips and shit.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and Kristen Bell in this movie, or not Kristen Bell, Kristen Stewart in this movie is like, oh man, she is
depraved.
First of all, she's very good at playing a straight woman, but also like
she's like nailed nerdy hot. Like nerdy hot. Nailed it.
Yeah, her character's purpose is to kind of like. Actually, no. Well, like,
she works in the office, right?
Yeah, she works.
But she's not supposed to be doing something.
Yeah, and there is a lot of stuff that's like. Yeah, I can see. The way that, they set that up. There's a little too much dialogue. I see what you guys are saying about like there's not enough show. There's too much tell because they're talking about the new Vice unit, but it starts off you going into this what is it, the not the Bureau of Organ Registry, but some office of organ registry. But then they go into it and they say that they are part of the new Vice unit and they technically don't exist. And yeah, that's so. Yeah, I can see how.
That's
a lot of stuff got lost. I think.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's another
dialogue.
Really weird
when
part
you get to the
that they're just going to drop you in.
the finale doesn't everything that happens in the movie doesn't take you to the finale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, all right, okay, I'm learning all this stuff. It doesn't matter.
And then like in this part here, you realize that Vigo's actually like working with the cops to kind of expose the illegal parts of the organ vice industry, I guess.
Yeah.
Art scene.
Because you find out, what's his name? I forgot his name. I should have written this down.
Is it
Whippet?
The other fella at the
because he seems like a really straight-laced dude, and he like cares about like his work. But then you find out later when he's like, everybody in this movie, guys, everybody is so horny in this movie. But like, even this dude, even Whippet is like, he's like, he's not only working for the organ registry, but he's also like doing this kind of hustle on the other side, the inner beauty pageant.
Yeah,
where, everybody kind of displays and is like proud of their new organs, their evolution, basically.
Whippet and Timlin are both weird because they're both like super fanboys, but pretending not to be to each other. But behind their backs, they're like getting in with Caprice and getting in with Saul. So it's it's a very strange
Kristen
motivation
Stewart
for the two of them.
Is definitely like, she is into this. Like she comes up to Vigo after the show, and she's such an awkward person, but also clearly very horny. And she says, surgery is the new sex. That's the conclusion that she comes up with.
Well, then it's hilarious too. Later when she later on she comes on to him and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at the old sex."
Yeah.
Her eyes are so shiny in that scene. Like, I've never seen someone's eyes that shiny before. Anyways, so the movie kind of opens up with this kid, in the wake of this the boat from the end of Videodrome, and his mom is like telling him, don't eat anything that washes up on shore. And then he starts eating the trash can in the bathroom later.
And she's just like staring at him like really bad.
Yeah. And that's like the most brittle trash can I've ever seen. Like, how
they get old. Yeah, they get old. They wear down salt water, because they can bite right out of them. Haven't you ever been to Ocean City? That's all you can do there. There's nothing else to do there.
But yeah, so...
And this kid is like a 10-year-old boy. He's like eating this plastic and he's foaming at the mouth while he's eating it, and like not like it just seems like he's cool with it.
Yeah.
And then his mom just smothers him with a pillow. So
as you do,
because she thinks that he's a monster, basically.
That part reminded me of this book I read like 20 some years ago. I can't remember the name of the author. Stephanie something. It was called Other Nature. It took place like in the Pacific Northwest, and it was just these like people who had survived like just everything, the climate and disease and everything had happened, and we're running out of people. And some of the people, they have these kids who are able to like breathe in the water because the oceans are rising, and it's like, I don't know, like the fish coming out of the sea. It's like the inverse of that, and how some of the people were like absolutely just killing their babies.
Kill it with fire.
Yeah.
Kill it with fire.
And then,
mutation.
And then it turns out there's some that like the families didn't. They just claimed to kill their kids, but they threw them into the sea. And the civilization has, this little group of people have like sort of banded together because they're going to fucking inherit the earth. Great book.
More people.
Yeah. Stephanie Smith.
That's what it was. Yeah, Other Nature's fantastic. Somebody should make a movie out of it. Anyway, sorry.
And not fuck it up.
Oh, that's all good. So yeah, that's kind of what kicks this whole movie off.
And then she makes a call. After she kills the kid, she makes a call and says, "Hey, tell so-and-so that if she wants to find his dead son, here he is." Which, again...
pretty direct.
Yeah.
Not a lot of subtext.
Yeah.
This whole movie's like this, too.
Yeah.
It's very direct. There's no mystery to it. It's just, what is up with this thing, and why can't people do this? And then you find it all out at the end, which is fine.
And for something that, like, again, like, just like gives you so much, you're still wondering, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the idea, people are like literally just cutting on each other in public spaces, and this is like the new form of intimacy, really. Because somehow in the process of being essentially genetically modified and having this healing factor, people have lost the ability to feel, and it does make sense. Like if, say, you there were no consequences to like getting into a car crash or something. Ultimately, like, I mean, with people being the way they are, I think that there would be some crazy shit going on, but the more you do that, the more your system acclimates to
the trauma.
Yeah, and then eventually, you might not be able to feel pain at all after a while. And the thing is, pain is important because without feeling pain, then you can't feel anything else, really.
See, I've been wrong about this movie because the movie made me feel exactly that while watching it. He nailed it.
But yeah, it's so. Yeah.
Well, it kind of gets like a little muddled because you're learning about these artists and what they're doing with their organ display art scene, but then at the same time there's like this subtext where there's like an underground scene
of some kind of crime that you can possibly have in this weird future where no one can die.
People are doing
there's still bureaucracy there, and there's still people like trying to enforce that bureaucracy in spite of how futile it is.
Yeah, they're only human after all.
There's nothing else to do. There's no pinball place to go. There's no fucking bowling.
It really seems like nobody has made anything for years in this movie.
They're out of ideas and they're bored and they just keep living.
Well, I guess the idea they come up with is they're gonna like mutate themselves to be able to eat plastic, so that question marks, I guess, because they don't.
Which would make sense, but doesn't it? All right, let's ruin the movie. Fuck it. Like,
but the government doesn't want them to do it, so the government's trying to stop them. But and then on top of it, like
the government wants. The government wants to control. The government wants to control the way that people evolve. Essentially, they know that people are evolving, but they want to.
But this thing that's happening naturally, we're gonna regulate it.
Guess so.
Well, the thing is, people are just growing random organs at first, and that's and like most people will try and get these organs removed, like Saul Tenser, but then you meet these sort of like the countercultural element, which is I forget his. I think it's Datrice. Datrice, the guy whose son gets murdered in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
It's very much there's always that guy vibe about him.
Well, that's the other thing I wanted to say about it is like he's the least interesting character in the whole movie. I don't think he's a very good actor. He's got nothing about him. I don't know. It just seemed really incongruous compared to everybody else.
He's not charismatic, and I think that's why he goes to Saul Tenser, because Saul Tenser would be able to say something that would make people care. And also, there's that man is definitely played to be autistic. Kristen Stewart's character definitely comes off as autistic as well. There's some subtext, I think, with that as well.
I believe that.
I think, spoiling it, what I think this movie is about is I think David Cronenberg got a late diagnosis with autism. That's what I think.
I don't know about that.
Maybe
I don't know about that. I think he's saying a lot of other things. He's talking about a time of lockdowns. This production was pretty quickly done. You could tell. There's not a ton of post-production in this movie. A lot of stuff is done in frame. Like a lot of the stuff is actual animatronics as opposed to any CGI. I can't even think of an instance of CGI in the movie.
Well, there are a couple instances, and they're pretty noticeable.
Quick and dirty. Yeah. And it's not like your big pivotal scene isn't hinged upon that.
Yes.
A lot of bellows, a lot of practice.
Which was,
stuff,
I think, a very, very smart idea.
Sure. Yeah. and he's working with pros, and this stuff isn't that radical. He's really only slightly modifying bodies.
Yes.
He's not, coming up with entirely new original like monsters and stuff like that, like you can do.
Yes.
I think he was saying a lot of things, and it didn't really come together because the whole point of this movie is eventually, yes, the reason why there's so many plastics, eventually, ultimately, of course, we're going to survive on them.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right. I don't know. Like, it was just like, no, we're not. What's going to happen is we're going to die, Dave.
Yeah.
We're not going to turn. This is not going to happen. And in fact, I'm a little angry that you didn't make this seem worse. I don't think you went far enough, buddy. I think this is your tamest movie.
And what if we're going to befriend cancer like that?
Yeah. I just...
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like, oh, well, the worst candy bar in history, at least, as Chekhov's gun, does have a payoff.
Yeah.
But it still was like, all right, so we're all good. That's the point of the movie, is we're all going to just fucking eat plastic. I'm like, we're already doing that, and it's not good. It's not good for us, man.
Working out with predictable results. Yeah.
That's a new threshold for humanity? Okay.
Come on, Dave. Shroud's better kick ass, buddy. Shroud's better fuck me up.
Oh, yeah, I am looking forward to that. But anyways, so, I mean, I don't know.
I didn't mean to, like, jump to the end like that, but it's just... So
there's
much
not
of this
a lot in the middle, though, is the problem.
Yeah, so much of this is just spinning wheels and stuff that happen for its own sake and stuff. And it's like,
a lot of it is like developing the themes.
It's world building too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the things, let's just set it up front. Okay, the breakfaster chair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Really?
What about it?
The breakfaster chair.
I'm like, that's not helping. That's all I kept saying the entire time it was on screen. I was like, this isn't helping. If you think that's how people fucking chew, eat, and digest, look, buddy.
This is why I think that this is like this is the kind of autism metaphor. That's where it comes through for me, because there's a lot of misdiagnosis
to eat.
Not a chair, but like ineffective methods to treat what might be a natural process in the human species, which is, more people becoming autistic.
But I don't see, I don't think that. I think he's actually trying to offer up a serious, like, solution to the problem he created in his movie.
Yeah.
And then what's the fucking bed called? That, like, weird bed that, like, swallows you while you sleep?
Yeah.
It did not seem...
Hang on. I think I wrote that down.
Very comfortable at all. It was like breathing and gurgling. I mean, that shit would keep me up.
Oh no, I didn't write down the name of that.
There's a lot of really curious products in this.
You know what? The commentary I would have on that I think he's making is that it's kind of like, and I don't know if this is anywhere near intentional. Maybe this is just me putting my current mindset on this, but it's just like paywalls or like subscriptions that are almost impossible to fucking get out of.
That's what I'm saying is, like the
steps in the way of functionality. Like, I need this thing to be done. So, we've created something for that, but it doesn't work. Well, but we've made this thing for that.
Yeah. Well, and notice how the assassins in the movie are working for what is it? Lifeformware. That's the big tech company.
Biomechanical tech company, yeah.
Well, they want this system to stay in place, because they are in control of a lot of the ways that people get treatment for growing these new organs.
Yeah.
And then you find out that, Detrice and like his comrades, his cell, are like their whole method is modify the body through this surgery, through a bunch of complicated surgeries, and then your body can digest plastic now. And the fact that he does this, and he has a son, and his son is the first, or at least to their knowledge, is the first natural born plastic eater. And that is threatening to the system, because it's showing people that you don't have to sit in this fucking chair and
eat these Play-Doh mush.
It's Play-Doh. It looks like Play-Doh. It does not look like food. And basically choke and gag, and He's
Like you,
he's so uncomfortable this entire movie. Vigo's character, like Saul, is in pain the entire time.
Yeah, he's not okay this entire movie.
Yeah,
But like the chair thing though, it's like Wall-E already solved this problem. And he made it more complicated where he didn't have to. You know what I mean? I feel like he's like taking a piss on tech bros a little bit here.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is
For
this
sure.
is and shitified is what it is.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think we're both coming at this from different, but we're same thing.
You know, they're adding steps to something that could have a much simpler solution.
See that,
and that's
that chaps my ass. That's like wearing a T-shirt that is the wrong texture. You know, it's just like I am not okay with any of this. You know, certain fucking menus in video games, man. Okay, okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really know what else to talk. Are we out of stuff to talk about for this episode already?
I mean,
no.
You know what? To be completely honest, when I was like running around doing some chores and shit today, I was just like, I think we're only probably going to talk about Crimes of the Future for like a half hour, 45 minutes. Because here's the thing that we can't convey to you, the listener, if you haven't seen this movie, and it's the tone and the texture of the film. Like like I said, definitely watch it. It's a fucking weird one, but it's not like you can't. Like, don't oversell this one as far as like Cronenberg's oeuvre goes. Like, this is not his craziest one by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah,
but it is extreme in another way. Yeah. And it's a weird way that not many films do or do well.
Yeah.
But just get real high.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. There is something missing in this movie. There needed to be
the point, though. Here's the thing. I think that might be kind of the point. Right. It's one of those films that when I got done watching it, it was extremely like I couldn't use the word disappointing. I couldn't use the word like I hated it. I didn't hate it.
Well, the performances are better than the story.
Yeah, everybody does a great job selling it, and it's a great piece of world building in general.
Yeah.
The logic of the people in the film is baffling, and you can get away with that.
Why do you think that?
Well, because we don't think this way. It's so alien to our existence.
That's true.
Yes, you have instances of people doing self-harm, but that's not the same as what they're portraying here. It's not what they're showing here. And we've seen this in other movies, and in fact, another Cronenberg movie, Crash. Like he's explored this theme before of just like the extremes of being. He's worked with fucking Clive Barker, who's absolutely done that. You know what I mean? Had these conversations and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he acted in Nightbreed, but it doesn't matter. They know each other. They definitely have hung out and had like some brandy. But like, it's an interesting film. It's certainly not like
it's not his best. It's not his best.
It's not his best. It's not his worst though.
What would be his worst?
I don't know what his worst would be, but I definitely don't like Existence as much as I like.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't. Same. I was never a huge fan of that one. That's actually probably.
And I wanted to like that movie so bad.
I want to too. I mean, man.
But it just that one just doesn't bounce off of it. And it ain't.
I don't think he quite understood video games.
No, but the
part of the problem.
Organic gooey controller thing. I was just like, no one is going to use that.
Yeah, like just the scene where they're at the gas station and it just says gas on
58,000 people are going to use that controller. Okay, that's it, and they're all going to work for Meta.
Oh. Oh God! Oh boy!
They're going to need to. They don't have legs, so all it is like
Wait, why don't they have legs?
Do they have legs yet? I don't know if they have legs in the metaverse.
Oh, right.
The thing that has been around since Second Life. Anyway, yes, that was Crimes of the Future.
Yeah,
it's really cool. It's very minimal. It's a tough watch, but it's absolutely worth it.
Yeah,
especially if you're a Cronenberg head. What are you doing? Why are you wasting time? Okay,
I liked it.
I don't hate it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it, and it definitely I've thought about it a lot since I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it should do. Right. It should make you think, and I appreciate the way, like, there's a meta narrative there, I think. I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but I just feel it connected with me in a way.
Yeah,
Especially because that last moment I think is beautiful because just to spoil the movie for you. So Detrice gets Saul to do a show at this inner beauty pageant, this illegal pageant, involving his son. They want him to do an
autopsy on the kid's
him.
body.
Mhm.
yeah.
And so, but the actual show itself has been fucked with, basically. I don't remember exactly. I think
I think what they said is that somehow Timlin got inside the boy and tattooed his organs in the same way that Caprice does, so that when they open him, nobody will notice that.
I think that Timlin and Caprice were kind of in on it together because they're still under this idea that growing new organs is still a bad thing. Instead of Detrice at one point says, I think he says like it's a natural process that nobody quite understands yet, but
and
it
can't
leads...
be controlled was like kind of the implication.
Yeah.
And then it's funny too because like in the beginning when they're like Saul and her are discussing like some really like tacky ideas for tattoos to put on them, like ha ha ha, that would be so tacky, mom, or like an anchor, and they're like, laughing about it. But then at the end, those are the tattoos that end up being in
like a skull,
really tacky ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
see, in the future, we will still have Hot Topic. There will still be Spencer's Gifts.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of brick to go around, guy.
So much
exposed brick. But yeah, so the show gets kind of tampered with, and so it perverts what they were originally going to say, which is, this kid was born differently, and like he should have lived a different life, but they turned it into a message saying that the world is poisoning our children, and I don't know, we need to cut this shit out of them before the human race goes extinct.
His environmental message is screaming.
Not just environmental, but it's there's a lot of stuff that you can infer from that scene alone, what he's talking about, because it's just it's conservatism versus liberalism, essentially.
Cronenberg's just like, you like plastic, fucker, eat it. That's the thesis of this movie.
Put your nose back in the plastic.
Yeah,
but so I don't remember exactly how they come to this conclusion, but Saul and Caprice like decide to. He's in the chair, and then they decide, because if you don't have the right organs and you eat this plastic bar, it's full of toxins. It kills you. It literally kills you. You die on the spot. There's a guy who takes this candy bar from, like, he sets it down on a bar.
Yeah.
And the bartender like takes it and takes a bite out of it, and then he just instantly dies.
Yeah, it's the candy bar that kills you instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you find out from the detective later that it was
someone else's candy bar.
You find out later from the detective that he was one of the investigators from the Vice Squad. He was like in undercover, and like I guess he's like, let me give this a shot, and like seems like a bad call.
But...
Yeah, I liked it when they did it better in Training Day. You like to get wet?
But the final moments is like Saul decides that he wants to eat the purple candy bar, just to give it a try, and
because he's like so tortured by the breakfaster chair.
Yeah, by the chair.
And he really
you know what? If you were in constant pain too, and like you had to have this chair just to get the food to go down and go into the right organ,
growing all kinds of weird organs in your shit.
Yeah, like I would be like, fuck this. I hate life too. Just give me the damn candy bar and we'll see if it works or not. And it does. And he
I
just
still have college debt, and the idea of being able to sell organs is just with no repercussions. My God, this is a fantasy.
He takes a bite. Mikey likes it, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, single tear runs down his cheek, and it's getting recorded. And this, I think, is their true act of like rebellion. This is their way of kind of getting through to people.
That was the first time I had a bite of actual British Cadbury's. It's wildly different than what we have here.
Oh, I believe that.
Sons of bitches.
Oh, one of the more interesting things I thought was when he had the flesh zipper installed. That was really cool.
Yeah, there's some interesting body modification. Caprice at one point like decides to get like the phases of the moon in these like implants. Just
under her
shot
skin.
to her forehead.
Yeah. Like you do.
Like you do. Why not? Why the fuck not? Like,
I mean, hey.
Listen, it's Cronenberg. There's going to be body modification. Okay?
For sure.
Also, one more beef. Crimes of the future. I'm still not entirely clear what the crimes were.
Well, you see the first crime at the beginning.
Yeah, but I mean that's straight up
that's a pretty.
It's just like
pretty normal.
That's a crime of the past. That's kind of
that's a pretty standard.
We got that now.
It's all carved into caves, dog. Like
it's all the organ vice, man. It's all the organ lingus that's going on with the zipper flap.
Like illegal performance art, and I'm like, isn't that just like improv everywhere? Like, like what are we talking about here? What's illegal about this shit?
Yeah.
I've been to some raves, and that was only illegal because we were there. It wasn't because we were doing organ shit.
There is a weird, like, kind of, I don't know, it feels very, the titles feels very silver screen for some reason.
It does.
It
feels
like a reference
it's kind of
to
overselling it a little. Like, I feel like he could have called this something else, and I might have been okay with it.
Well, the original working title was Painkillers.
See?
God damn it. That would have been so much better.
Yeah, that would have worked.
That's just like all you need is kill. They should have stuck with that instead of Edge of Tomorrow. It was that's such a great title.
Come on.
What other, it's one of the few Tom Cruise movies I love. You get to watch him die like 43 different ways. Dope as fuck.
And it's implied that he dies even more in many other different ways as well.
That movie is wildly entertaining.
It
Not
is.
what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but God damn it, I do need to watch that one again. I like Dave Lyman movies.
Yeah.
The same director did the movie Go. The fuck?
That was a fantastic movie.
I love Go. Anyway, that's Crimes of Future. Check it out. It's available streaming somewhere.
Yeah, it's on Hulu right now.
It's on Hulu. Okay, cool.
I'm sure it'll come back. It'll be on Tubi eventually.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be around. I mean it's Cronenberg.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's part of the fucking canon. We have another one for you that also on paper sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We have the director of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, probably. We have the writer of Alien. We have John Dykstra,
that would make sense, actually.
Who did just a ton of like costume robotic design and stuff.
Physical effects.
Yeah, you have the production team who from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
comes through.
That tracks.
Yeah, a lot of on paper sounds fucking amazing. You have miniature work, from people who have worked on some of the biggest sci-fi shit of all time. I mean, this is like almost a super group.
Yeah.
And the movie is called Lifeforce.
What could go wrong?
Don't
what
watch
could
it.
possibly go wrong? You remember how last episode I talked about how like we were just going to pick some fun, dumb movies and I made a mistake? That wasn't the only mistake I had made in this entire organization. Like, I happened to go back to that place that sold used DVDs to pick up a copy of Altered States on DVD because I did kind of want to keep that one around. I like that movie. I don't know. It feels like it needs to be part of like my canon now. I also picked up a couple other ones. Like I mentioned, I got Geostorm, which was dog shit. Again, just watch Greenland. It's a better movie. And of all of these movies, I paid like $3 each. Older States, I paid $7 because they had to ship it, and I was like, all right, I'll pay for that. But then they were like, we have Lifeforce, and I was like, what? They're like, we have Lifeforce.
How did you know?
Blu-ray Well, I had asked. I was
Okay.
just like, yeah, it's a long shot. You know, if you had, and they're like, oh yeah, no, it's right here. They had 2 copies of it.
How much did it cost, Coin Ops?
$15 fucking.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Well
Oh
spent.
god.
Well spent.
Which is $17 too much.
Ugh.
It's worth $1. The thing about it is, I don't know if I didn't. I think I watched the full version because it has an extended cut that's like 15 minutes longer,
Yeah.
and it felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel that time pass.
Yeah.
real
Oh,
quick.
man.
And I think the extra 15 or 20 minutes, whatever, is part of like a second flashback where they already did like a flashback a quarter of the way through the movie. So it's
Yeah, but it was more
tedious.
spaceship stuff.
Exactly. From the beginning, backstory of what
Yes.
happened that you
Mhm.
missed. Anyway,
Oh
it's
my
a very
God.
ambitious project. I will say
Oh, wait,
that.
I should mention this real quick. This was your pick, Howard.
Yeah.
I'm holding you responsible for this.
You know, you can hold childhood trauma responsible for this because the first time I saw this, I think I was probably like eight years old. It was definitely like we were at my dad's buddy's place, and you know, he's like, "Hey, we should watch this movie." And my dad's looking at me like, okay," and it was one of those, "Turn around, cover your eyes, turn around."
Yep.
But
You would have to do that for like
amazing.
So you
80%
saw
of
about,
the movie.
I was going to say, you saw what, 15 minutes of the film?
Buddy, let me
But
tell you, I think we had the exact same experience, except it was like with my grandma or something. It's the same grandma that like I watched all these other fucked up movies, like Altered States and fucking
Yeah.
Runaway and shit. Like this was one of those.
But
I
it kind
should
of makes
not have
sense
seen this movie.
because, like I said, if I was turning my head to only see 15 or 20 minutes of screen time because there's so much in it that I forgot. Like when I sat down to watch it again, I was like, holy shit. This movie is technically, I want to say it's like, I started counting like 7 or 8 different genres in one film.
Mhm.
They got like
Yeah.
Minimum.
it's part
Yeah.
comedy, it's sci-fi, there's a zombie horror film.
It is too much. There's too
in
much.
there.
There's too
a
much
spy
going on.
thriller. There's
Mhm.
like an outbreak movie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
God,
A lot.
Like some military thing.
Lots of global intrigue.
this movie runs for about an hour 47 minutes. I think possibly 2 hours if you watch the extended cut, and it could have been broken up into 10, 22-minute episodes and made a pretty decent like limited series on like Netflix or
Yeah.
straight to Tubi.
But it really feels like a BBC show.
Kinda, yeah.
Kind of.
Like a
Yeah,
tight,
yeah.
a tight 8 or 10
It
episodes.
feels like a
isn't-
serial.
Well, this
Yeah.
it is it's like it definitely does feel like a serial, but like it's an American and British production, correct?
Definitely. No, they
Mhm.
filmed in
Yeah.
London. And,
Yeah.
you know, Toby Hooper, basically, this is a Canon Films movie, and he was basically given, like, anything he wanted.
Yeah.
This is one of those instances, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between and beyond, that if you are a creative, auteur theory only really fucking works if they have a close-knit group of people they trust who could be like, no, George, Jar
Rethink
Jar
this.
Binks is a terrible idea.
No,
Mhm, mhm.
maybe
Okay.
not. Perhaps this instead. Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where like the production company really wanted to like just make a name for themselves and put out like a serious movie instead of like, you know, the traditional
Oh
schlock.
God.
They based it on a Colin Wilson novel.
And this is one again with a little bit of a title work here. So the original title for the movie and the title of the book was pretty flat. It's
Straightforward.
Little on
Space
the nose.
Vampires.
Space
Space vampires.
vampires.
So it's about
Definitely
vampires from space.
A title of its age.
Space New Jersey.
And as they were going through it, they decided to change the name to Lifeforce. And when you watch the making of the movie, which I definitely recommend any making that you can see, because the one I watched is really well put together. That's like a bunch of contrary opinions, all like stacked up right against each other about
Ooh, I
from
need
the
to see that
cast
one.
from the film.
Yes.
I'll talk about a couple of them, but yeah, they really wanted to kind of push through and make like a big time picture. They gave him $200-some million, and Toby had never had
What?
a budget like that before.
Like $200 million in today money, right?
You know what? I should check my numbers on that. I maybe put an extra
I was
zero
like
on
that.
there.
That
But
has
it was
to
a
be.
lot of money.
That is
they
a
gave him.
lot of money.
It was like 4 times the number that they usually give him to make a movie. So
Yeah, and
he
I
kinda
will
made-
say
And
the
this is 1984,
25
85.
million. Sorry,
85.
yeah, 25 million.
probably.
25
I
million.
mean, okay, so I will give it this. Like the special effects in this movie, like that's one of the few things that I can say about it
Fantastic.
that I did
Mhm.
enjoy. Like the practical effects are
Fantastic.
Yes.
very good.
Really good practical effects. Good
set design.
good visual effects for its time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The weightless
Absolutely.
stuff, okay, look, it doesn't work, but they tried hard enough that I bought it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm watching it, I'm like, because some of the people that worked on this, especially where the scenes where they're in spacesuits, transferring,
Yeah.
is very reminiscent of Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, with the big, huge setups. Yeah, I definitely see that.
But I mean, they also John Dykstra had invented this blue screen. This is way before we did this green screen shit. He was doing blue screen stuff, so they would be shooting stuff when they're doing these cable bits. All of these motherfuckers are 40 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
And if they get wobble in one of them, it sets the entire thing off, and it's
Mhm.
mechanized. So the guy has to learn how to, I don't know. This is where, like, if you ever worked in a shop, you have to control these, like, shop-sized cranes.
Yeah.
It's more like a puppet.
It really is. And if you get swing in it, you have to learn how to take the swing out of it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And there's a way to do that, and it takes some, you got to learn the machine a bit. But they would have to pull these guys back and then reshoot this descent. And these guys were throwing up in these suits. So some days it would take them like 4 hours to get them all set up for this stuff. And then they would try to do the shot. One of them would start swinging, and then they'd all start swinging, and they would all throw up in their fucking helmets. And they would have to take them down, clean the goddamn uniforms, and then like the next day try it again. This movie took forever, and no one said no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Because it was also a real, again, it's a production company that's used to more basic stuff,
Run
and
and
they're really
gun.
trying to kind of be big boys and bring everything like the way they're supposed to bring it. But like half of them kind of know what they're doing, the other half kind of don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Half of the actors are sort of like B-list, the other half are like very much A-list actors.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing
Patrick
like,
Stewart's in it.
we said it, for instance, a bunch of like really famous British actors from older Hammer films. They're
Peter or Frank Finley, Peter Firth.
Peter Firth is in it. He's actually, that's my favorite performance. I mean, it's very
Steve
campy?
Railsback reminds me of the pilot in Airplane the entire movie.
You know what? Okay, so that was what his part in particular. Like I don't like his character. He's insufferable the whole movie.
Yes,
And I
he
get
is.
it. He's tortured. He's done
Who's
some
that?
stuff. Tom.
He was the survivor.
Commander Tom, the survivor.
Right.
Not Major Tom, Colonel Tom. Everybody's colonels in this movie too.
No,
Yeah.
Colonel.
It should have been. It really should have just been Major Tom. Like they made a David Bowie reference.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a poster of him somewhere.
There's
So,
so many
but they
colonels,
stole
it's
a-
like my poop.
Yeah,
So
they
that-
stole a bunch of stuff for this movie.
So that fella shows
they
up to work filming this picture, and actually, as it turns out, he's a method actor.
Mm-hmm.
So he spends the entire time just moping and acting like
He's really into this character.
PTSD'd
Oh,
out
God.
and upset, and everyone's like, "Man, this is just a
Zero.
movie."
It's not that
Surprise.
serious.
There was this interview that was on the Blu-ray with him. It's like 9 minutes of him talking or 7 minutes of him talking. And so one of the things was he's talking about his character. Now we should mention that this guy, they look fucking blah blah blah. These astronauts encounter this ship. It's got weird space vampires on
Yeah,
it.
I like to refer to it as H.R. Geiger's asshole.
Yeah, it's
And Hooper said in one of the interviews, we tried our best, like, not to make anything look like Geiger because we kind of revere the guy. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
like Dan Bannon, who wrote Alien, is
but it looks a
here
lot
writing
like.
this.
well.
Yeah,
Here's
it
the
looks
thing.
a lot like.
Yeah,
H.R.
Again, with
Geiger.
the
and on the inside.
with the making of that I saw, you're talking to the matte painters, and they're like, "Yeah, we kind of hedged Geiger a little bit. We definitely cribbed.
totally.
Uh-huh.
We definitely cribbed from him a little bit." And it was like
I was gonna say.
they made these massive matte paintings to have this
Yeah.
entrance scene where they're coming up on this ship, which they found in the coma of Halley's Comet. It's just
Sure.
hidden there.
Yeah,
And it's 150 miles long, guys.
Hmm.
Incredible.
that's yeah.
It's
God.
not
So they
necessarily.
discover that there's an object in the comet, and they decide they're going to go in, and they go in, and they find these bat-like creatures, and
Which,
three.
amazing.
That was really
Yeah.
impressive.
The shot is tracking left to right slowly as these astronauts are entering this vast, gigantic room, and just
This
scattered throughout
sphincter.
are these, or like a throat or something. Like there's a lot of organ kind of tube thing going on here, but
Yeah.
there are these like bat creature people
Mhm.
just dead and suspended in space, and they're all at different depths. So like as the thing pans, you're getting that sense of fuck. There's a lot of
Yeah.
them out there. They like
Yeah.
hung these props up.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
It's really that's a beautiful shot.
And everything's
Yes.
like super biomechanical, but not exactly looking like assholes or orifices. Like it's pretty well done. And in the main chamber, like, first of all, when they get in there, like suddenly the ship starts activating, and it's like a big umbrella claw on the top.
Yeah.
And they get into like a main chamber where they find 3 like perfect humanoid specimens, just like
And this is where I'm out.
in crystal cases.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm out right here. This is the moment where I was just like, nope. You're aliens. Why are you going to look exactly like us and be able to speak English?
Well, they explain that. They
Yeah, they
explain
do
that.
I
explain
know,
that.
and that never works for me.
However,
Take the extra step. Make them look like one of the bat things.
oh, there's human beings on board.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Well, I mean, that
She's
What?
perfect.
what?
would definitely take them back if they're humans, you know?
Why?
Yeah, but how
What?
would
Hang
it
on,
know?
though. Why would you?
Who's
Why?
changing the shape? Like, are they changing the shape based upon proximity? Like, there's no. I need something that isn't there.
I mean, they kind of explain it later.
Yeah, but
I was okay with it.
when I'm already out.
But they
But
they
wait,
find
wait,
these 3
wait.
bodies in these crystal coffins. And by the way, crystal coffins, great band name.
Mm-hmm.
And they take them back to the shuttle.
lady. The
Yeah.
lady's completely nude, but the
Oh, they're all
guys are-
completely nude.
Well, no. They strategically cover the genitalia of the men.
Of the guys.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Little, come on,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
We're gonna talk about
and just
Homegirl.
yeah, for the record, 1 woman, 2 men.
Mhm.
That's important. We'll bring that back up later.
And
For some reason.
yeah, this whole thing is like the scenes. I mean, the camera work really sells the zeros G scenes, and
Yeah.
Henry Mancini does the music for the whole movie. Really
Again.
sells it in this part too.
On
Mhm.
paper, fantastic.
And the cinematographer had done work on Return of the Jedi,
Mhm.
For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of the
It-
production design is from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like
Uh-huh.
this is
Yeah, it
heavy
should
hitter,
it should
supergroup
work.
Shit.
It should work. You would
So
think.
should work. It just doesn't work.
Uh,
It makes me sad. It made me sad for 2 hours.
Mhm.
but
Like
they
increasingly by degrees sad. Like you could add 15 to the 15th decimal place. It went up like every fucking 3 seconds. It was just like ticking up the whole time, and I was like, "Oh, you guys."
but they get the bodies, they get clear, and they leave, and that's the last year for the Churchill for a while. Then the timeline skips ahead 30 days, and the Churchill's coming back to Earth, but they're completely unresponsive. So they have to send Shuttle Columbia up
Yeah.
They didn't know. No one knew.
to get
Yeah.
to rescue the Churchill, to rescue the astronauts on the Churchill, and
They
they
launched
find
it
out
from the World Trade Center. You know, it's
It was either that or the Challenger, but the Challenger wasn't ready to fly.
they find out that that the ship is empty. It's been burned. It's full of like burnt skeletons, and they find the 3 bodies in the crystal coffins, and they decide, oh, let's take them back to Earth.
yeah. It's
What's the
always
worst that could
important
happen?
when the writer of the movie Alien, famous for the scene where the android allows the fucking biological foreign thing into the fucking ship breaking quarantine, is straight up just like, hey, let's take the alien shit back.
Mhm. Yeah.
Skip it. Fuck it. Different rules. Let's go. The girl's naked. Did you see the girl's naked?
Oh God.
Oh man.
In case you missed it.
So they get the bodies and everybody back to
Actress
the
Matilda May is naked.
yeah.
Mhm.
Just gonna.
And that's
we're gonna
another one.
talk
She's naked for like most of the whole film, and like when you hear a bunch of production stuff, it's like a lot of really like skeezy stuff. Like everyone was
Yeah.
supposed to be able to eventually close the set because
I mean, God.
all these guys kept glaring at her.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's address just this movie is rife with 80s misogyny,
Mhm.
and it's just shows so much. Oh
It's-
man, it's so absurd.
effortless.
It's ridiculous.
It's effortless.
it
how much
seeps-
is in it.
Yeah, it seeps into everything.
And
The
there's
funny
always
thing is
there's
she's a main character but has no character.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to understand, she learned English as she's filming it. She learned all of her lines phonetically. She does a great job.
So there's a whole
But
backstory.
They didn't
Go
hire
ahead.
her because she was an actor. They hired her because she was a ballet dancer,
Right. And she can move the way they needed her to move.
which is what they said. But we know why they hired her
Mhm.
for
Well,
2 reasons.
I think
she's a very beautiful body for sure.
I think that those are
But-
prosthetic, by the way. Like
Yeah.
they
She-
didn't seem. They didn't
She
look that real.
no, she went naked for this, and she was
Oh, okay.
fucking 18. And the other
God.
thing about it, there
Oh,
were
fuck.
weird stories about it. There was one of the here's the thing on this Blu-ray, it's all that kind of like shop, factory shit where it's all like, hey, this movie was awesome, and we talked to this actor that was in it, and he says really cool things about the movie,
Yeah.
and like there's like they give her a 9-minute segment where she actually, to be honest, in this segment seems pretty chill about it. She's like, most of the time I forget I made that movie. And then somebody out of the blue will come up to me and be like, hey, what was Lifeforce like? And then she's like, and then I'm forced to think about that movie again. But the way she comes across in this segment is very...
She must have been smoking a lot of weed.
No, she just said it was fine. She said everybody was cool. She said Toby Hooper was like very protective. Like she doesn't have any like complaints and stuff about it.
That's okay.
And now when they started shooting, she knew that, like, I guess nudity was involved, but like when the day came, she immediately was just like, I need a phone. And she's like, and it wasn't easy to find a phone back then. And I got on the phone with my agent and I said, they want me to strip naked? What the fuck? And her agents had to assure her that they were filming a science fiction film and not like an erotic film.
Yeah.
Why not
spoilers,
both?
There's a bunch of erotic shit in this movie. Rewind, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of male repression.
Now, this is
going on.
This is her talking about it, and then there's this little documentary sit down with Toby Hooper about it, and he tells this story about how like he had to bring in so many women who just didn't want to go naked for this film. And this is 84, 85, so I think we're kind of getting through that like the 60s, into the 80s kind of thing where like boobs were in every movie, and this was more blatant than a lot. And he tells a story about how like there was a plane load of these actresses coming in, and they all like, unionized on the flight in that they weren't going to go naked, but the woman that unionized them was the one that did the tryout naked, and it's implied this might be Matilda May, which that's like it's not clear, but it's just like
I heard the story a little. So it's, again, and the behind the scenes that I saw was Toby was telling the story. He said, "You don't know how hard it was to cast her." He says,
"Yeah,
in the first place, we had a plane full of like 23 women from Germany that came over to audition for this role. Except one of them decided she was going to poison all the others, so they couldn't try out, and she would be the one that won the part. It's like there's a whole movie in the making of this movie.
Okay, because he specifically didn't say that. He said they unionized, and then the girl that unionized.
Well, I mean, that's how
is
to
that a fucking
effectively.
Yeah,
you think
Toby is right wing? What?
I don't know. It
anti-union. What the fuck? Anyway,
he made it seem as though like someone actually physically poisoned them, so had food poisoning, so they couldn't audition. And that one girl who did the poisoning was the one who auditioned. It didn't seem like he was talking about
the part.
Matilda May. Exactly. It didn't seem like he was talking about her.
Because isn't she French?
She's French. Yeah, French ballet dancer.
Yeah.
The other funny part, like I said, with these like these different Rashomon versions of how the filming went. Like, one of these British actors like, oh, Matilda, yes, she's very standoffish, hardly had any English at all. And then, like, you talk to the hairdresser who's in charge, the lady who's in charge of hairdressing and makeup. She's like, oh, Matilda's wonderful. She always had a joke to talk about. She spoke English very well. She seemed very... two different stories about what was
okay, so...
And, also, again, on this fucking Blu-ray.
God, that's sketchy.
She's like, who's the older fella? Frank Finley?
Yeah.
She said that he was such a proper British. Everybody was so proper. The British, they were so proper. They were so gentlemanly, and so making sure I was okay. There is a fucking movie here.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, this movie was a flop.
It didn't even make half.
It came out around the same time as
back.
Cocoon.
It came up against Cocoon.
Cocoon was not only a smash hit, but like a generational film. Like that movie was E.T. levels of huge when it came out. I mean, I saw it in theaters like 2-3 times. I like Cocoon. It's a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
And people liked it more than this one. And likewise with E.T. I think E.T. went up against The Thing,
Yeah.
I guess we just like our aliens benevolent.
Yeah. Right. Oh, no, E.T.'s a fucked up movie, my friend. Like,
yes, it is.
It's one of them ones where you go back and you're like, what the fuck did I think this movie was? This movie is dark as shit.
Yeah.
And then again, here with the back and forth of what really happened, you have like, people saying, oh, yes, Toby, he seemed very conflicted and very manic at times. And like someone else is like, yeah, he was on coke the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
Pretty goddamn coked up.
it's 1985. There is hot and cold running cocaine on the set. I mean,
Yeah.
Matilda's quote in this documentary was just like, "Oh, he was really interesting. He had this like this Texas kind of accent, and she does this like really bad kind of Texas accent." And then you see his interviews at the time; he's not really that Texan. Like he is a Texan, but he isn't really like coming across like straight up like.
Is everybody sure
Cool,
they like worked on the same movie, or were they all just so fucked up that
depends
they
on-
just?
Yeah, there's another part too later where like one of the production crews like
I don't want to talk about the movie anymore. I want to talk about this.
the producers Golan
This
and
is
Globus.
fascinating.
They are one of the last breed of the old school Hollywood financiers. And then this other lady's like, Golan and Globus are gangsters.
There's a documentary about it, and it is incredible.
yeah.
What the fuck is it called? Oh my god. Oh man. I have to look it up now. Okay, all right, here's another piece of bullshit trivia. So the Steve Railsback, I think it was in his interview. And he's like, toward the end of it, he's just like, yeah, there was this one time, he's like, they asked him about working with Patrick Stewart, and he's like, oh, Patrick was great. He's like, there was this time Patrick Stewart was on like Leno, because this thing was shot in like 2005, 2007 or something, whatever. And Leno's like, hey, so Patrick, what was your first on-screen kiss? And he's like, actually, it was Steve Railsback.
Yeah.
Lifeforce. And I was just,
That's right.
that is so fucking great.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
And they had
I
real
gotta say
chemistry.
that.
They had real chemistry.
I didn't even really like Patrick Stewart in this movie too much.
Well, it's not his
He
fault.
was, look.
He did his best.
Everyone in this movie thought they were doing the best work they've ever done in their lives.
That's the cocaine, my friends.
Let me tell you something. I, in college, wrote a 42-page essay after drinking like 3/5 of a bottle of Dewar's. And I turned it in the next day. And I got an A, but only because one paragraph of it was published in the literary magazine.
Nice.
Like
So
in
basically
that
it was-
entire rambling, I basically gave her like alcoholic chat GPT, and then she just like picked the one part that was good and said, all right, here, you're all right, kid, you're all right.
The Hunter Thompson School of Writing. Yeah.
Oh, it worked. I wouldn't recommend it. Don't do that. I don't drink liquor much anymore, but that was a rough day the next day, man.
Damn.
It was a real rough day. Anywho, yes. So everyone in this
Right,
movie
right.
did a great job. They thought, and it does. It's not that it falls apart in the editing. It
falls apart in so many ways.
They don't. Just another take, bud. Just try that line like this.
Some of the stiffest line delivery I have ever heard.
And for British people,
there's no chemistry in the film.
That's what brought me out of it, honestly. I could not be invested in anything because it just feels like a whole bunch. It's just a bunch of white dudes just bullshitting for an hour and a half. Oh man!
Like things just keep happening and keep happening, and you gotta kinda keep track of what's happening.
Yeah, because this woman is overpowering them, and
well, like the guys are gone instantly. Like
it's such a
killed,
male
or
fantasy,
they're gone or something, and then like they show up at the end of the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they vanish, but then they explain it away as like the thing is they walk off. They don't die.
Right.
They just walk into the mist, and then
you don't see them again.
No, but I think there was the crazy scientist who figured out how to kill
the thanatologist.
Yeah,
right, sure.
Yeah. He finds out that like they zapped into the brains of the security guards and were possessing them that way because
that's right.
Yeah, you get a lot of
intangible beings.
Explanation of how their powers work, and you got to kind of keep track of it because also like some of the people that they kill kind of turn into these.
This movie has lore,
flesh-eating zombies, but like some of them don't, and it's like a weird transmission thing.
Yeah, the rules are not clear.
And all respect to Frank Finley, I mean, he is literally playing like dime store Christopher Lee. It's just like
absolutely.
What is my motivation? You're Christopher Lee in a Hammer horror film. Go.
Ah, yes.
By the way, the cinematographer also worked on Hammer horror films.
Oh, for sure.
No
There's
doubt.
no
Now,
surprise.
Hang on a second. All
No,
right.
I mean it looks it for
I-
sure.
So, okay. I think this is the thing I think I read you guys. Let me see if I can find it. We're basically, this is based on, like we said, a Colin Wilson film.
A book.
Or Colin Wilson book, rather, called The Space Vampires. And it was as a consequence of, like, H.P. Lovecraft's publisher, August Derleth, challenging Wilson, who was critical of Lovecraft's writings, rightfully so, to write a Lovecraftian novel himself, a challenge that resulted in 3 such novels: The Mind Parasites, The Space Vampires, and The Philosopher's Stone. And they, these
my
guys,
favorite
like,
Harry Potter one.
right. I mean, and Gene Siskel fucking called it a guilty pleasure and shit. And, like, but there's this quote in here where Colin wasn't down, man.
Really, I can't imagine why.
He wasn't into the fucking movie.
No, he did not like
Does
it.
not
Where is
show
this
at
quote?
all.
Yeah, this quote is genius. It's
Well, like
so fucking
his
funny.
novels is a lot different. It's, again, more golden age sci-fi. It's like, it's hundreds of years in the future, and like everything is like super high tech, and it's just a very, very different setting, very different feel to it. I haven't read the book, but it sounds less interesting than the treatment they gave it for the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, like I said, the film has so many really great elements. It's just like the execution
here
has
it is.
some
Yeah.
real weird starts and stops, and the flow is a little strange.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Let's
the
hear the
pacing.
quote.
The pacing
You've
is
worked
so
hard on
off.
This is so good. So Toby Hooper later said, quote, "The spirit of the book is certainly there for my interpretation of the reading. Though Colin Wilson's novel was set in the future, I made it in a contemporary piece for identification. Also, I tied in Halley's Comet, where they make the find of the alien ship. It has been millions of years in the comb of Halley's Comet, traveling as a parasite of sorts. But basically, I think the movie embodies the same spiritual feeling that Colin Wilson intended." Colin Wilson was unhappy with the way the film turned out. He wrote a
Can't
quote,
imagine.
quote, "John Fowles once told me that the film of the Magus was the worst movie ever made. After seeing Lifeforce, I sent him a postcard telling him that I had got one better."
And I don't disagree with that statement. Well,
This is now, by the way, I'm reading this from Wikipedia.
Birdemic is still probably
All right.
the worst thing I've ever seen.
The fact that I went to Wikipedia at all for this fucking movie says a lot. But Hooper later said, quote, "Lifeforce had a great look but lacked a screenplay. There wasn't a hell of a lot that could be done about that except to change it completely. The film started off as Space Vampires, and that's actually what it should have been called. With that title, you'd look at that picture with a completely different set of sunglasses. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?"
I remember reading that quote, and I was like,
Well, and here's a tie-in, okay? Here's a callback.
Well, hang
for
on.
y'all.
What does he say at the end of the quote? Because I thought he said that it would reflect just kind of
That's-
the tacky nature,
That's it. No,
or pulpy tacky nature.
This is just from the fucking, Wikipedia. Anyway, so this is another interesting tidbit I found. In February 1984, Billy Idol said he had been offered the lead role as a vampire by Hooper, who had directed the video of Dancing with Myself, but turned it down due to touring.
Yeah.
That's-
He was unable to rock that cradle.
"Oh, you want to hear an even bigger callback to previous content we've created? The male vampire that you see on screen, like at the end, that gets the good stabbing. That's Mick
the one with
Jagger's
the big
brother.
fucking magical sword.
That's Mick Jagger's brother.
Oh shit!
There are a lot of those guys in here where you're watching the film. It's like, oh, it's that guy. It's that guy. And yeah.
There is a lot to love in this movie that sucks.
Oh, it's just. I still do not really fully understand how we got to the mental institution.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't.
So I had to watch it
don't.
twice to get that, but I can walk you through it. So the
What
female
is
vampire.
the plot? What is it about? What is this movie?
Listen,
Well, again-
listeners,
No.
wait, hold on, listener. We can't do a play-by-play. of
This is
No.
kind of the part where the movie goes Silence of the Lambs.
For some
But
reason.
the female vampire escapes, and what she's doing is leading them away from London while the male vampires spread their vampirism all over the city. So she like takes a body, and like you find out they can actually shapeshift into the bodies that they take.
Yeah.
Who is a lady who happens to be a nurse at this mental institution. That's the only reason the mental institution is there. Is the strange
Oh.
It's just that she met this lady, she took the lady's body, and then she
Right.
went to the mental institution and presumably got into Patrick Stewart's body. Although it happens off camera, though.
I mean, every character in this movie is like a cardboard character,
Okay.
but they
Listener.
do no female
See-
characters in this movie justice. They're
Listener,
all
I
like
didn't
if
even
you've
realize that she was
thralls.
at the mental institution because they like get there and like freaking the handler from Clockwork Orange goes off with Patrick Stewart, and then they ring a bell and go up to an apartment. It's like, where the fuck did the apartment come? I thought that they went to someone's apartment. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was right on the grounds.
Well, they move a lot of
know.
the story forward through quick exposition, like, oh, her name's Ellen. She's a nurse at this hospital. Let's go
Oh,
to the
yeah,
hospital in a helicopter.
Well, and not only that, it's like, can I hypnotize you?
Yeah,
Yes, go
it's-
ahead. It will allow us for an expedition or an exposition
It
dump.
feels like there's a lot happening, but not a lot happens.
Yes,
Yes.
there's
It's
so
very
much
busy.
going on.
Yes.
It's
And
kind
it-
of the opposite of Crimes of the Future.
Yeah, it makes it. It just feels like bullshitting. Like this is the equivalent of like
It's
having
the,
an office job and then
Yeah.
just fucking off for
it's the cinematic
6
equivalent
hours
of
in a
look
day.
busy, the boss is coming.
This is the cinematic equivalent of you and your friends on mushrooms around a campfire in the third day of fucking camping, and you decide you want to pull some D&D out of your ass without dice around. And so you're like, and then this happened, and then the vampires, they could also shapeshift. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. You know, like, listen, one of
Yeah.
my favorite fucking scenes in this movie had to have been the worst day for Matilda Bay on set. So they're helicopter transporting Patrick Stewart's body away from this place because he's whatever happened.
And the
Yeah,
body of the
man.
Home Secretary. It's
Not
too-
Yeah.
100% sure he's dead.
No, but they do this whole amazing like 3D mold of him that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's old, and it just starts like you can tell it's aimed at an angle, and they're shooting it in a certain way to make it look like he's just laying on a bunk.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
the blood is
But all this blood
levitating
is,
out
like,
of his
levitating
body.
out of his body, and it's forming this like globule in the air, and then it turns into Matilda May without skin.
Mhm.
She was in like makeup and latex and putting the pumps of blood like that you can't even tell are pumping through
Yeah, so
her
it's constantly
fucking
coming
hair
in and out.
everything.
Yeah.
Right. For 2 seconds of screen time,
Uh-huh.
and like she was in that shit for 8 hours to get up to that point.
Yeah.
And they did several takes. That had to have been the worst goddamn take.
Yeah.
I can't even fucking imagine.
That's
And
where
she's
she
like,
earned the paycheck.
yeah, and she's like, I'm covered in this like red syrupy goop and stuff, and it's like getting in my mouth, and it's like not sweet, you know. And I'm like, I can't even imagine.
I don't know
And
if that was.
They tried to put mascara on me for that movie I made in college, and I couldn't do it. I was like, nah, it's like I don't like stuff near my eyes, dog. Like just.
I don't even think that was like the most uncomfortable day in filming because I mean, do we want to talk about the interrogation scene with Ellen the nurse? That's
Well,
Yeah.
I don't
That
think
was
she had a
something
good
else.
day. I really don't. I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, every day had to have been hell for her.
But yeah, they find her in the nurse, and it's like this really weird scene where he just like goes from he's like okay, so the Commander Tom is like now like psychic sensitive, and if the
Sure.
vampire has possessed somebody, he can
Yeah,
feel
we'll
it.
buy that.
So he gets all like really weird and slappy with this woman he just met, and then it's like this
Yep.
weird monologue where he's like,
Yep.
"This woman is a masochist. She wants me to hurt her. I can feel it."
Yeah.
It's kind of like
And she's got scratches on her back, which
okay.
Yeah, there is definitely it feels like
Which I
there's
wasn't
a
sure if that was-
psychosexual element to this.
yeah.
Again, very opposite of Crimes of the Future, I think.
And I didn't know if the scratches on her back came from like she had sex with the guy that she picked up on the road, or did she have sex with the nurse, or
No,
maybe
does she
that's-
just have scratches on her back?
Just
Let's
like
talk about-
validation to show what
Yeah.
he said is true.
No.
Yeah.
There's no deep
Yeah.
diving into the eroticism of this movie. This eroticism is on par
Yeah.
with Steve Carell describing touching a woman's breast in
Mm-hmm.
The 40-Year-Old Virgin.
And then
Yeah.
like so he's getting like he's getting rough with her, and Colin Kane, Major Colin Kane, or Colonel Colin Kane from the SAS is there
Colonel
with him.
Colin Kane. Jesus
Colonel Colin
Christ.
Kane, also
And he
with
says to him,
C's.
Oh, you may want to step outside. This could get ugly. And then the colonel's like, by no means, I'm a natural voyeur. So, something just
Oh,
came
yeah.
back like
And he
weird,
just
like
dropped his ass down
I
on the
forgot
bed.
about that.
Yeah.
Fucking what the fuck?
suddenly it became
I
like
actually
a weird
paused the
three-way.
film for just a second. Yeah, because I was like, what?
That's the best line in this movie.
He's my favorite
It
character.
really,
He really
is. But what the fuck?
Yeah.
There were a couple of those moments that we're talking just a back and forth between characters we'll never see again, and it's better than anything any of the leads have done.
Oh, yeah.
There's like 5 or 6 of these in the movie. I almost meant to like kind of jot them down, but I couldn't bring myself to a second watch. Like I said, I saw this when I was a kid, and then I watched it like a week ago. And as I was watching it, I found it as high as I got. Almost impossible to keep watching the movie. I had to keep moving my phone over.
I think I had the same experience,
Like out of
honestly.
reach.
Like,
I was like, no, I'm doing this.
I was
watching this. I paid $15 for this.
I gotta
And
say, I was checked out by like the last 15 minutes of the movie. I did not care what was
I
happening.
love the destruction of London.
I mean, it builds to a
Because-
massive crescendo. Like
Huge.
all the action,
Mhm.
everything that's happening,
Actually,
like, stuff keeps happening. It keeps
I think
happening.
the last 20 minutes of the movie are great.
I think my favorite scene is they're realizing like martial law has been called in London, and by the way, like they do half the conversation in the helicopter with headphones on, and then like
Isn't
they
there
just
a
kind of say
great like
screw it.
car chase or jeep chase or
2
something?
great car chases
Yeah.
through
They,
zombie
they
infested
aren't actually
streets.
related to each other, and
Yeah.
No,
strangely
no.
enough.
They're fantastic.
But yeah, my favorite scene is
Actually.
they find out like London's in martial law, and they get directed to the bunker where like the prime minister is, and they show up and they're like, "We need to talk to the prime minister," and like turns out prime minister's been infected. He like drains his secretary, and the two of them just look at each other without a word. They just like leave the prime minister's office, walk back to the roof, and get back in the helicopter.
Yep.
Like, nope,
What the fuck?
We're done here.
prime minister's dead.
Oh man.
It's-
And then like
yeah.
you find out that that NATO's been called in, and they're authorizing use of nuclear weapons to sterilize London. It's like a whole other movie.
And when
again.
they
Yeah.
find out that
Yeah.
NATO's been called in, Colonel Colin Kane, which I will never tire of never tire of saying, he says NATO in like the same way. It's like undesirables.
Ugh,
Yeah.
they don't know what to do.
And here's the craziest thing about this whole fucking movie is that I never got one of my favorite like sub genres is like Cold War panic movies, like that are
Mhm.
well done.
Yeah.
You know, not your average Rambo, but like First Blood.
Yeah.
Or like the OG stuff, your Red Dawn, even. Like we covered fucking By Dawn's Early Light, which I'll always love. The Testament, The Day After, fucking Threats. Like I love all of these things. This movie, I had 0 sense of Red Scare at any
Yeah.
point in this movie at all. None. 0.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand how rare that is. Even Transformers, the fucking movie. It was devoid of it. And when they threw all that stuff in at the end, I was just like, it's just because we got nukes. It wasn't because like Russia. You know what I mean? Like none of this was just like, oh, Russia's a problem. No. They don't even come up. Like they might as well not exist in this fucking world. It's
Yeah,
kind of incredible.
this is like a globe spanning film too. Like it just
Kinda.
takes place in so many different places.
Yeah.
Like
The-
I mean,
Also
I don't know.
featuring,
like World War Z, the film.
yeah,
pretty much.
it
Like at the
features
end.
one of the fastest flights from Texas to England you have ever seen.
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
get him there. Although
Yeah, he's
actually, by
just-
that time he's at Walter Reed. So from Texas
Yeah.
to Maryland, and then
Oh.
up to London, and then across to the asylum. And
Yeah.
like I said, it's wild. It's wild.
Time is elastic. Listener, if you have read the novel The Space Vampires by Colin Wilson, and you would like to come on this podcast and talk about the differences between the novel and the movie Lifeforce, I will fucking mail you my copy, and you can have it forever.
Because then, like out of nowhere, like then it becomes again like a vampire movie because the doctor gets like some ancient sword from the armory that just got
Oh,
delivered
no.
to him at the
Can
space
we-
agency.
Pause
The s-
everything.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
What? As soon as I have never seen anything look less medieval and not quite
Yeah,
erotic
it's like a
as that
spear.
sword.
Can we? It's
Yeah.
not even. It's like, what if a sword was half hilt
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
And
half
had-
handle?
And had some extra blades and was ribbed for her pleasure.
Can we?
It definitely looks more like
Just-
a weather vane or a lightning
Yeah.
rod. Yeah.
I was home alone with the dogs, and I literally said, "Fuck it, why not?"
And then
Out
the
loud.
camera just pans over, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I just found one of the fucking male space vampires and just killed his ass."
But not by
Listener, we
stabbing him in the
know.
heart, but 2 inches below it where the true center of power is.
So
Listener,
much
we know.
exposition over
What?
phone to radio. Like they were not in the same room at all, but they're acting together.
Like fucking show, don't tell, guys.
Well, exactly. Well, the problem is they
They show us
sometimes
so
show
much.
too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
This
like
movie
while they're on the
shows-
helicopter, it's like,
there's
oh, I
some-
have we have a communication for
The
you. Here, have the
pacing
headphones.
issues, guys. The pacing issues with this movie.
Yeah.
It feels so slow, but also like just it's that information overload. There's too much.
Okay, here's my question
Mm,
for you guys.
just one?
Yeah, just one. Did they give the editor cocaine or marijuana?
Yes.
Why not both?
Yeah.
Porque no los dos.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe weed for the first 3 weeks and then deadlines.
Mhm.
And they'd be like,
The
cool.
deadline snuck up on him.
I,
But like,
I
yeah.
am baffled by this film.
Well,
Yeah.
and speaking of the show don't tell thing, it's like I was saying, the you get that scene in the helicopter where they have a communication. Here are the headphones so you can hear them. And then later on the fucking pilot just flips a switch and they can hear them on the speakers and
Same
that.
scene. The same goddamn scene.
It's like
I got
what
at one point they
the-
need
why
the
didn't you just flip the
and then
switch
they
to
just
begin with?
dispense with that at all. And then they're just
I-
talking at normal volume in a helicopter, which you can't do.
Except for
No.
the funny thing is they're talking at normal volume in the helicopter, except the guy that they're talking to, who's in an office back in London, I guess, and he's shouting.
And then it becomes a comedy again because like the blood thing starts happening where she turns into like this blood golem in front of them, and they start screaming, and then the pilot looks over his shoulder and he starts screaming, and they're like, "Get your hands on the control!" Again, it's
I
like
lost it.
there's so many
And then she
comedic
just
parts.
okay. Here's the thing about inertia. She just turns into like a bucket of blood that just collapses on the fucking deck of the chopper. Like I look. That didn't need to happen.
No,
That's I just a lot of work went into that scene, man. Didn't need to
Yeah.
happen.
And it was just
Didn't
out
need
of
to put her
like
through that.
nowhere.
It's the most clothes that she's in the film.
yeah. Which was another line that I loved after they find the body of the woman in the park. And
Oh, yeah.
I think it's Colonel Colin Kane that looks at the other guy and says, "Now she has clothes.
Yeah.
It's like,
dun, dun, dun.
See,
I
that's
have a
where-
machine gun. Ho,
sounds-
ho, ho."
So disappointed.
that's where
She can
Terminator got
act
its idea.
like everybody else now.
She could drive a car.
We'll never find her.
Oh, my God.
How? How can we ever find this woman?
And honestly,
In the
that's also
city of
No, that
millions
this
of
girl.
Caucasians.
They
Which
can we
comes
just
up?
can we just
Can we talk about the character's name?
Which Colonel Colin Kane
No.
or the space girl?
Yes.
The space girl.
Space Girl.
Her name
Yes.
is
they call her girl so many times in this movie.
Yeah.
They refer to the other vampires as male vampires,
Yeah.
but they call her a girl the entire fucking movie.
Churchill, we found a girl.
it's the Great Space Girl.
Man,
Get on board.
I wasn't gonna go there.
No, it just oh my god. That's
It's
just
I don't understand this weird fantasy these guys are having in this
Yeah.
movie. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I ain't vibing with
well,
it.
it's
It ain't-
because it's rooted in so much misogyny. You know, it relies on that so much, and everything is there's no development. They don't even have dimensions because they're
No.
little
Yeah, well,
more
here-
than just cardboard.
One
Well,
of
it's
the
like hearing Toby Hooper talk about how we took Matilda May because she was a dancer and we like what her body did, the way she moved and stuff like that. And you
Mhm.
watch her and she's just walking up steps. She's not like doing anything athletic.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
not.
She's not like the monkey guy in fucking
Yeah.
States.
Yeah.
She's just like
Oh,
doing
gee, I wonder
crazy shit.
why she got the part.
Yeah,
Dude.
exactly.
Not
Well,
like I'm not
so-
throwing shade. I'm just saying like the way that
It's like
I watched The Substance earlier.
At the same time,
too. So like,
fuck man, I want
While-
to see that movie.
it's,
while-
it's really good. It's really
Yeah.
good. But it's
While-
just like,
awesome.
oh man.
While all that's true, there is something deeper they were trying to portray. Because when you get into like Matilda doing all the exposition of them, she says basically like, "Oh, we took our forms because I scanned your mind when you came in the room, and my form I took directly from the depths of your soul. I am the feminine that is in you." It's just like,
So you're a libertarian.
what?
Yeah. But that
In
immediately
27 states.
but that immediately brought up a question. I mean, does that mean does she look different to everybody else?
Right.
Or
Yeah, and that also. Oh man. So
Yeah, man.
if the
Hey,
if the same
here's the next
rules
hour,
apply, if the same rules apply to the other space vampires, They're both men.
Yeah, did they come out of Hooper's mind too? Did they come
They
out of
They
sure
do the
are.
same thing?
And frankly, if anyone can direct us to like,
Why not? They're pretty freaking hot. I mean,
I mean,
we're four fellas talking about this. We know.
I mean, goddamn.
On the same episode that the person who has read Colin Wilson's novel, The Space Vampire, we would also like to have some women. That would be great to just talk about what the fuck we're not willing to or able to talk about,
or
as
just
far as
something
how
that we
fucked up this fucking movie
How did
is.
you
Like
straight
this
up
movie.
missed because we have penises.
yeah, I mean, we're
It's like, okay,
we're
we're watching
limited
it from
in that.
like a thing where like we're seeing the thing happen and like, yeah, we get it. You know, like, yeah, we know what you're doing here. But it's like nothing ever really comes of it.
Well, nothing really comes of the movie. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Though I do have to give Matilda May a whole lot of credit because she has like Dr. Manhattan levels of attitude when it comes to being naked. She just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that comes across very well.
No, there's this weird, there's no, I don't want to call it like bravery, but there's this kind of like, yeah, I know what the fuck you're doing here.
Yeah.
It comes across in this movie.
Mhm.
I don't know. She might have unionized the other.
If she didn't, she probably went back and did it after this, but I got
and there's like there's nothing I can really take away from like her performance because she's not really giving shit to do. Just show up and eat people, kind of with the weird space electronica shit.
And one of my favorite
because they
scenes.
just do not develop her whatsoever.
No, there's no need to.
No, actually,
she's the alien.
There's a way to not need to and totally pull that off. Like you have that crazy Lovecraftian, like unknowable mystery terror.
Yeah.
You can do that. They didn't do that here. They were just
No.
like, oh, boobies, I'm in love with her. Half of me is her. Half of me is this. It's like, fucking shut up.
Yeah.
What's this movie about, guys? Just here's the thing. You guys were raised like Puritan Catholic Christians. And you don't know how to process the fact that like you kind of like boobs, guys.
That's kind of funny too, though.
That's what this feels like.
And you might like dicks too, and that's okay.
Yeah.
By the end of this movie, like I want to say 4/5 of the way through, where it turns into like 28 days later, where they got the cordon around London.
Yeah,
it's almost like this is when I realized like they kind of have to constantly remind what's going on because they're talking to this another colonel who controls the camp, and they're like, what about the ship? And he's like, the ship? Oh, it's taking up stationary orbit above London. It's like,
oh yeah, they need to explain every little
ship.
plot.
Yes, the ship.
Forgot about the giant umbrella.
Oh man.
Oh, you mean the ship that all of the lights in the sky are going up to? That we can't find the vampire woman, but there is a weird tower of light coming from St. Paul's Cathedral.
Check that giant beam of light pouring into the sky. Yeah,
it's a lot, fellas.
Oh man.
No, I gotta say, one of my favorite scenes in this entire movie was like right at the beginning when like the first security guard gets his life force drained. And that doctor jumps up and he's running down the stairs and he runs through one door and closes it behind, runs through the next door, closes that behind, and then another door.
So
and
many doors.
I mean, first off,
did the first one work?
You're watching someone get, I guess, absorbed.
Yeah.
We don't hit any alarms. We don't call for help, but we do work our way through a Scooby-Doo level of fucking doors.
And there's like 3 different scenes where somebody runs through this massive hallway of doors. Like, it happens more than once. You can
they paid
let's
good
just
money for
assume
that
he
set
went
full of
through.
doors.
We don't need to see it every time.
It's that 2001 corridor vibe.
Yeah.
Which they shot that.
Vibe.
Oh, they
shot
totally
that at the
ripped off the
beginning
2001 corridor
of the movie.
100%. Well, it's the same. Like I said, it's the same production company. They were just like, yeah, we love space shit. Let's do some space shit. You want octagons, son? We got you with some octagons. We got some crystals. What do you need? I mean, look. This is a curiosity.
It's hard to make a movie.
Listening to
It's damn near impossible, actually.
Especially
listening
when
to
like
It's always a mess
you
behind
keep
the
genre flipping.
Well, I mean, that all of these things can work. You know what I mean? Like it's all of this shit can happen. It just it just somehow didn't. And yet, here's the thing: I don't think this is a cult film. Like I know it is. I know that there's like a kind of a cult following around this film. I get that. I understand that. But here's the thing: I just don't think this one really this isn't The Room.
No.
You know what I
no.
mean? Like I got to the end of The Room and I was just like, I need to watch that again. What the fuck? And this is more like I got to the end of it and I was just like, oh, "Oh, you guys are so tired.
Yeah.
You guys did all the cocaine while filming it, and then you
Mhm.
edited it tired.
Yeah.
You were like just tired and high, and you're just like, yo, man, I loved it when he said this whole thing. Remember when he said it like this, and we didn't
Oh, man.
use the shorter line, we used the longer line. We'll pad it out, yeah, because we only have 60 usable minutes.
Yeah, this movie is just not. This is everything that you shouldn't do in a movie.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they used everything in the scene at the end where he's like doing the car chase through zombie infested London. Like the zombie reaches in the window and grabs him, and he pulls the arm off, but then the arm is still moving. It's like,
And then he
You know what, though?
nonchalantly just tosses it over his shoulder into the back.
These
Yeah.
motherfuckers, though, with their animatronics, fantastic.
Oh yeah, no.
The zombie, the desiccated guy on the table at the beginning is so
Mhm.
fucking good.
Mm.
And they on the behind the scenes, there's like 20 different people operating that thing.
Yeah.
Like 3 people just for the arms, and there's like bellows that people are squeezing to make it look like he's breathing and shit.
Mhm.
They knocked that out of the park.
Yeah.
Like that stuff. Oh,
The one that runs at them through the bars and disintegrates, that was
Oh.
really freaking good.
Look, if y'all are into effects, like I definitely would say, just this is a kind of clinic. Like they're really showing some stuff off.
Mhm.
It's pretty impressive. The problem is everything between it.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know that I would
so-
say problem. The spectacle is everything in between it. I recommend this movie. Absolutely recommend this movie. Like I said, just so you can count how many different genres they flip to. It's kind of
Oh yeah, and
Incredible.
just bounce back and
Well,
forth
it's-
between them.
with tenuously maintaining like a 1 through story.
It feels like a fever dream.
Yes.
It
very
feels like
Freudian.
it should have been called the Space Vampires.
Or,
It
uh,
really,
Here's
yeah,
the other thing. Here's
because
here's
it's
my
got that
one.
pulpy feel to it.
Oh,
Like
100%.
very
feels like-
movie.
It feels like a writing exercise where you pass it to the next person next to you after you've done your paragraph. That one,
You know what it needed?
Yeah.
It needed the script needed to be passed through the hands of
Yeah.
Richard Pryor. And then this probably would have been the greatest fucking movie ever made. Like, I can literally see, like, if a comedian of that era, at the height of their powers, had given this thing a pass and they made this thing funny.
That was one of the things I was
Oh.
thinking. Like, if they had leaned in a little bit more to the funny parts, because you can start off
Yeah.
serious and funny if you make it
There's a
known that
couple
you're
of bits.
trying to do funny.
Oh
There's
yeah, there are a
of
couple
funny
bits in here that are hilarious.
They're
I mean,
really funny. Like,
Well, like in the very
Uh-huh.
beginning, they're trying to
Legit.
like catch the girl when she's escaping, and it's like the
Yeah.
guard comes up to her with a biscuit in his hand. He's got like a
I-
cookie. He's trying to catch her with a
Yeah.
cookie.
that actually like makes about as much sense as like to us now in this day and time. Like, it makes less sense than like the guard in Altered States pulling out the billy club and not the pistol.
mhm.
You know, like, it's just one of those things where you're just like, it's alien to me.
This guy came up and tried to offer her a cookie,
You want a
Yeah.
cookie? You want to? Well, it's
Yeah, trying
England,
to-
so it's a biscuit,
I mean,
and then she force chokes him.
as you do, because they got whatever power they need in the moment.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I am frustrated.
yeah,
Well, you know what? Yeah, like I said, if you're into effects, set building, effects in general, you know, like, definitely this is kind of a clinic. It's like worth looking at.
Yeah.
If you're a writer, this is also a clinic on everything to not do.
yes,
Everything.
I mean,
It's-
honestly, the last 20 minutes of the film are the film that is the film that I would
Yes.
like to see.
Yes.
That's the film I want to see.
You know what this reminded me of? Skyline.
Mm.
Dog shit right up until the last 10 minutes. And it's like, this is fucking awesome. What the fuck? Why didn't you make this movie?
Yeah.
Oh man, just run your shit through like a second or third draft, guys.
That's
Yeah.
a wild ride.
And maybe
A
try a
wild
second or
ride.
third
Listen,
Hey,
take.
don't use ChatGPT. please.
Have a fucking
Please.
friend that like has your best interests at heart tell you that something's bullshit and like stay friends with them.
Mhm.
That's what this movie feels like. It was written by ChatGPT.
It's prescient.
Well, I mean, again, it's like several trope.
It really
films
does.
put together.
Actually, the more I think about it.
I mean,
for the-
like the way that you described, Atlas. It's
Oh,
definitely got those vibes where
yeah.
a lot of the lines just feel so unnatural and so.
But
Oh
They have
man,
to say them.
Zero's
so you
right,
know what's
though.
going on.
There's 6-7 different fucking movies here.
yeah,
Yeah. He's like,
At
oh,
least.
$25
Yeah,
million. I can make 25 movies
Okay,
for that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Low life. Okay. Patreon goal.
Mhm.
We'll reboot this. As we need a lot of money though, guys.
Yeah.
So you got to get to work. But we will do 7 episodes of a television show with a whole director and expensive budget and production and everything.
Working title: Low Life Force.
Yeah, the Low Life Force. I was going to do a callback to what I said last episode. I'm not going to do it. So these all of these movies, these are all like, we're putting this out technically on All Souls Day because we want to just keep it spooky through the election into the holidays. I don't give a shit. Fuck Thanksgiving.
The war on Christmas has begun.
And we're fighting it from the side of Halloween. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep talking about weird shit and spooky
Every
shit.
day is
Yeah.
Halloween.
We just remember that, like, last up, we were really hyping up that, like, Scum was going to talk about the cell, and here we are this whole week. Being like, hey, guess what? It's going to happen later.
We'll get to
But
the
here's
cell
thing.
because he made us watch it, and there's a lot to say on it. But
Yeah, like,
and
guys,
he doesn't.
stay,
Here's the thing:
stay safe
spoilers.
out there and mask up because it's like everybody's getting sick.
Fuck,
So,
man! Just from having production meetings online on Discord, I got scum sick.
yeah. Like,
Get your jab, guys.
it's
Come
that
on.
contagious.
it only works if everybody does it, and there's obviously going to be people who don't do it, but like, wearing the mask is like you're protecting other people from what you might be carrying.
Listen, are you a fan of anime? You've watched so many people on trains wear masks when they have a cold.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You're like,
Some people
Trump's
just
gonna
do
make
it.
anime real. Yeah, and here you are not wearing a mask. Fuck you. You don't even know what anime is, you goddamn poser.
The problem is which anime is he going to make real?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And I think
The-
masks can actually stop the vampire energy transference from these creatures.
I've got it on good authority.
Another
Worth a try.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh,
what
and
were
then before we close it out on the movie entirely, my favorite part at the end is where so spoiler alert, he resolves it, he kills the vampire, but like all the thousands of human souls that they stole in London just go up to the ship, and the ship carries on like they're good now.
It's going back- looks like it's going back to the comet.
Yes,
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
full of life forces.
What if this is where they got the idea for Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home? They're just like, what if we did that but not stupid?
Show me the whales.
I mean, Star Trek 4 is still pretty stupid,
Yeah.
Shut up.
but
It's fun though.
It's a fun. It's
Super fun.
dumb in a fun way.
Yeah, okay, the punk that gives the middle finger on the bus.
The
Yeah, he look him
double
up.
dumbass to you.
Yeah, look him up. Look him up. He's gone on to great things. I'm not lying. This isn't even a joke. And I'm not fucking telling you what it is here either. I'm just like, hey, here's a little homework
The
assignment
thing
for
with
y'all.
Star Trek movies, it's the even ones that are good. The odd ones,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God.
Although the
Amazing.
first one,
I love
bringing
the
back,
first one, dude.
yeah,
Bringing back the team
motion
that worked
picture,
on this
that
movie.
one was fucked up.
It was
but in a good way.
gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean,
Look,
it could have
okay.
been. It could have been 30 minutes shorter, though.
nah.
It could have been because there was so
tracking porn shot of the fucking Enterprise in the dry dock.
yeah.
It's like 10 minutes of the movie. And
Yeah.
I'm going like high as
lot.
fuck watching it the first time.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
see, that's.
this is awesome.
Well, it's Star Trek,
That's-
so you must have starship porn.
I am the only.
Totally.
I'm the only millennial here, so I'm not impressed by that shit.
Here's what you
anymore.
need to understand: the show was done. It didn't look like there was ever going to be Star Trek again.
Mhm.
But there was this rabid fandom that had like kind of grown up when it was still like the small conventions and stuff. So when this movie came out, it was a cultural fucking event.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just that it didn't do as well because it was that, and people expected it to be kind of not that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It was too slow. But
Yeah.
they totally made up for it in the second one. Third
Mhm.
one, it's fine. It's got some fun moments in it. Fourth one, fantastic. Fifth one, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Sixth one, actually pretty fucking good. And then
Yep.
I just kind of fell off after that. Actually, I'm actually one of the people that will defend the New Generation Nemesis one that has like Tom Hardy.
movie.
as the
Yeah.
bad
You know
guy.
what?
was all right.
That
Underrated
movie's
as
not
fuck.
bad.
Yeah.
That movie's so underrated. It flopped so hard, and then I watched it one day. I was like, "Why is this flop? Is this factor?"
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Oh, the
Yeah.
dune buggies. Yeah, fuck you, man. Shit happens on different planets. Eat my ass. I don't know.
I was so bored by the reboots, though.
Yeah, no. The second one is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a whole. We can do a whole episode on the
The
shortcomings
Treks.
and the
Yeah.
and the glorious parts about the various treks.
I got a motherfucker I could bring on this podcast. Where like, I would just sit here. We could do this for 4 or 5 hours. I just make him angry the whole time.
And that's a threat, listeners. That's a threat.
Yeah, I'll see what homie's up to. Anyway, okay, so so here we are. We're looking to extend spooky season.
Mhm.
All right, it doesn't have to be suddenly Thanksgiving. It doesn't have to be suddenly Mariah Carey in her doom song.
Mhm.
What other fucking movies could we have talked about here that we could talk about in the future possibly? As far as weird shit like this. If nothing else, yeah, okay, I might have thought these movies a little boring, a little dog shit and stuff like that. Even whatever. I still think about them. I've been thinking about Lifeforce since I was a kid. I've been thinking about Crimes of the Future since I watched it. I've been thinking about The Cell since I went to the theater to see that motherfucker.
Well, I mean, like I said, it was a tough call for me to do. I think originally I picked The Wraith, which is actually, now that I'm thinking about it, a much better movie than Lifeforce.
Yeah, that one looks really interesting.
I
Because
like Lifeforce better, but I think The Wraith is a better movie.
yeah,
we
that
can
one
definitely
seems
come
like
back to it.
yeah.
It's got that Outrun vibe to it.
Yeah,
It does. It
Oh,
has
yeah,
a great
it's
soundtrack. I saw that
the
so many
whole,
times on VHS, but
Oh man, that
Love that
synthwave
car.
concept of the highway warrior. That's coming
and it's
through
more
pretty
schlock.
hard.
It's more honestly schlock.
it is.
Absolutely.
It's unabashedly schlock though. That's what makes it
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no, I mean, but it just feels like
It's like Maximum Overdrive.
seeing
It just leans right the fuck into it and just runs
Yeah.
with it, and that's what
Well,
makes it fun.
seeing an early incarnation of these tropes that I don't know, they just seem like they came out of a dream, sometime. There's-
Okay, you want another
Shall
one that's actually?
I can't think of the first time that I've seen that trope of this, all black motorcycle gear clad or racing gear clad figure in a badass looking
There was that. What was that?
muscle car or a motorcycle.
What was that? What was it called? The Exterminator or whatever? It was this dude that wore a welding helmet and he carried a fucking flamethrower
Yeah,
on
I
the cover
think
of the
that's right.
VHS
The
tape.
Exterminator.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see that cover in my
You
mind.
know what I'm saying? There was always that. Oh, the mask makes a mysterious thing. Ever since people realized
Yep.
Boba Fett was cool.
Yeah.
Well, in keeping with this movie, and another one that's actually really good, I would say throw in Night of the Comet.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that comic
yeah,
so
that's a good
fucking
one.
much, dude. I actually have the soundtrack, and I'm disappointed it doesn't have the Cyndi Lauper
Yeah.
cover on there because I saw that movie and I heard that song and I was like, "That's not Cindy singing, is it?"
It's such a good just capsule movie, from
It's
start to
incredible.
end.
It's got
Perfect.
Chakotay before he was a piece of shit.
That's right.
I love that movie so fucking much. T and I watched that just on a lark one day, and I got to the end of it, and I was like, I fucking love this movie so
It holds
much.
up. It holds.
It's
the
so
fuck up.
fucking. Well, I'd never seen it before. I'd only seen it when I was 42.
Yeah.
Or for 45 or something like that. And I was like, nah, this is awesome as fuck. This is
That's
literally
another one I
of the
remember seeing
best
when I
of
was a
the
kid. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one within the last year.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a
Love
good
it.
one.
Love the filter they put over the camera for most of it. It's fantastic. It has fun. It does a cool thing. That's all I ask, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
all I
maybe
want.
we'll get that one in the running too.
Oh God, yeah.
And then we also had
a.
we had a set of Prison Break movies we want to get to.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm
Kinda
making
pull
you
those
guys watch
together.
fucking Lockout or whatever the fuck it was with Guy Pearce. That's the one.
Mm.
It's either that or No Escape.
No Escape.
I love No Escape. I unabashedly love that movie. I love the villain. I think Ray Liotta does a great job.
Yeah,
That
I feel
movie's
like
so bad shit.
I feel like that's a really underrated
Uh-huh.
sub
It's kinetic.
genre in cyberpunk fiction. Is just the concept of future jail. I
Yeah.
mean, I've seen some
Magnetic
really interesting
fucking
cyberpunk.
face off.
Yeah, we got a little taste of that with Dead Leaves, and that's kind of I think
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, there's this game Pathos. It's a really good I mean, I think it's still in development, but the demo for it is really well it's a visual novel, but it takes place in a virtual prison where everybody's kind of plugged in 24/7 and they can only exist in this virtual world. But then there is a hacker that is killing off the prisoners one by one. And it's actually terrifying.
Wait, is that the one with Jason Momoa in it?
Oh no, this is a game. This is a computer game.
Oh, never mind.
It's a
Sorry.
visual novel.
It sounds like a
trying to
movie
think of,
with Jason Momoa where they're closing down a prison somewhere and he's a hacker and he can it's anyway. I forget the name now. Never mind.
Was there a prison involved in the movie Doomsday, that Neil Marshall movie that like I wanted to like, but it's just kind of like.
You mean besides England?
I didn't see that one yet.
No, I mean the prison that is England.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you go.
Doomsday was set in England. I think so because there was like a wall. It was like the wall in Scotland was all like barbarian
there was,
territory
like,
or
this,
some
like,
shit.
cannibal rapist gang that they were like.
Yeah, Scotland.
Okay, right. Thanks, man. But I wore a kilt at my wedding. Anyway, like, I'm not that Scottish. I'm just Caucasian. I'm sorry. It's just. I'm not sorry. I couldn't help it. It just came out this way. I'm just a guy. I fell out of my mom in Ohio. Sorry. No, God, what was I just talking about? That second one.
Doomsday?
Doomsday, right. So I love Neil Marshall movies. He, fucked us up with what? The Descent and Dog Soldiers. Guy rocks. He also did, I think, was it him? No, I always confuse him with Joe Carnahan, the guy that did Narc and something else. Anyway, point being, Neil Marshall did the Doomsday, and I didn't like it. And goddamn it, I guess now we have to do an episode about it.
Didn't I saw it in the theater. Didn't like it.
Yeah, it didn't hold up. After everything he'd done before and after. He's a good director. He did some Game of Thrones episodes. He did the big one,
and I love
all the money.
I love post-apo money. Yeah. I love post-apo movies, but just didn't
hit. Didn't hit. It felt like he's just like, fuck it, I got some money, let's make a movie. That's what it felt like. It's called Doomsday. It's not great.
Right.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Neil Marshall. Like, who else did some prison fucking movies? There were some other ones that were like.
I mean, there's obviously the Escape from New York, Escape from L.A.
We talked about Q. We talked about that one that I was talking about with Ice-T and Christopher Lambert, Mean Guns.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I'd ever seen that one, but I would totally fucking watch those two.
My problem
we got that coming up.
I don't have any movies that I can point to. I have like series and I have video games that I can point to for.
For sure. But like, what video games that were like breaking out of prisons that were like every Skyrim fucking, you know what I mean? Like Oblivion, like you're always breaking out of prison and then becoming like the savior of the universe.
Yeah.
Breaking out of a vault.
Yeah.
The Vault as a prison is an entire essay series that I'm never going to write. There's just like this idea.
Well, if you want to extrapolate that, THX 1138.
100%. Oh God, we're gonna come.
I mean, pretty much every dystopian movie. I mean, society is a prison.
Metaphorically, but I mean, like the actual building. Like, Dredd does a great job of making Peachtree seem.
Oh man,
nails it.
Yeah, no, it's. Oh man, I love that movie.
I love Dredd more than I could possibly say.
It's so good.
I want a sequel so bad with the entire.
I want Mega City 1. I want Mega City 1 so bad.
That series that was
bring
supposed
back
to come out.
Carl Urban as Dredd, please. I mean, I don't care how old he is. Just like,
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Dredd does the thing. He never takes the mask off.
Right. Yeah, and Dredd, even underneath the mask looks like 20 miles of bad road anyway. So,
or Stallone.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Wait. What the fuck? I mean, Shawshank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That movie flopped when it came out. People don't realize that. It's considered to be like American canon now, but it's a good fucking movie.
Yeah.
It really rocks. It resonates. It's good.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm trying to think of this other one, though, that was like, that is a really extremely complicated escape plan. It went on way too long, but it was like really good. There's like the Raid 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Raid films, yeah.
The Raid 2, the Raid 3, which exists in my mind. It's literally it's everyone stabbing everyone until there's no one left. It's all it is. I think the whole world is down to one guy at the end. It's not a guy. It's a dog. Knife tied to its head.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think of like there was fucking what the fuck. Well, I mean, honestly, Snowpiercer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Metaphorically, kind of bending it a little bit there. What was the one where was it like the escape plan? What was the Stallone one?
That sounds right.
There was
I
like
don't
5
remember.
of them too. They just kept making sequels. Like there was this whole straight to DVD like subgenre of movie where it was just prison fighting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's like 10 different series that do it. You know,
Yeah.
Undefeated. That's sort of
Undefeated
like,
was
yeah,
the big one.
yeah.
Ving Rhames was in that shit. And
Scott Atkins. who
Scott
was-
Atkins
yeah,
is the
Scott
legend.
Atkins is just that. If you like fighting movies, that's some good fighting movies,
I,
man.
I just respect the guy. You know what I mean? I just like you've been in tons of shit. And you're
Mm.
good. You do what you're doing. I don't know. I'm losing it. I can't think of anything else. Like I'm just like I just keep thinking of Clutch's song "Escape from the
Prison Planet.
I mean, well, there's Alien 3, right?
There you go.
One
Is
of the
that-
finest of all time.
Is that one?
Yep.
Yeah, that feels
There
I'll
you go.
defend that movie to death.
You know what? That might be one worth talking about.
For sure.
I would love to. I'm unironically, I fucking literally like when I saw that movie, I got stood up for a date and I went and saw that by myself. And I got to the end of it and I was just like, holy shit. Like, here. My expectations going into Alien 3 were that it was of escalation. We went from Alien, which is just like single ship, people dealing with single alien. It's a problem. Look at how dangerous this thing is. Holy fuck, this is terrifying. Oh my God. Holy shit. Sigourney Weaver in a bikini, all right? And then the movie ends. And then you get to like the second one, and then my sexual awakening happens when Sigourney Weaver gets into the power loader. But it was this exponential increase. Now you have a bunch of people armed, looks like they're capable, looks like this is going to go one way, and then you realize they're up against literally thousands. And it was like, oh, fuck. And you had Burke, piece of shit, right? No telling what this guy could have done. Not really hard for him to stick an egg on the ship as they go back to Earth. Third movie, egg gets to Earth, Earth is overrun. That was my idea. That was my plan. You know, like in my head, the way I thought the canon was going to roll. And then what I got was instead something that changed my fucking life. And it was this minimalist, like this, oh, fuck you. We're going to take a hard left turn and we're going to do this minimalist meditation on fucking like prison life.
Mhm.
And we're going to show you a new alien and we're going to make it miserable. And it's phenomenal. We're going to shave. So, oh, you thought Sigourney Weaver was cute in the power loader, bud? You got a little boner from now? Cool. We're going to shave her head for this one.
Mhm.
And then a new thing happened. And then, like, it was just, that was, to me, that was a perfect trilogy. When Ripley dies at the end to sacrifice, like, herself to, like, kill the queen and, like, save humanity, I was just like, fine, we're good now.
Yeah.
And then they brought her back. They could have made a fourth Alien movie, no problem. They didn't have to bring her back.
Yeah, Alien Isolation.
That was
did it right.
gratuitous.
Again, right, 100%.
Anyways,
Right, so you got that to look forward to.
hang on. No, hold on. I've got one. Like, I mean,
All
if
right.
you want to talk about movies that have like a weird psychosexual undertone, there's the movie Crime Zone, which
Okay.
was directed by Luis Loza
Okay.
and had, hang on, I forget his fucking name. I have to look it up right now. But it is produced and stars David Carradine. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
yeah, that's a good one for the whole, like, it's 1989, I think.
All right.
But
Right on.
I enjoyed that movie for, I don't know, I appreciate it. It's not a good movie, but like it's one that I think that we could talk about. It's kind of schlocky, but
All right. Well,
Or Running Man, you know.
running.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
I mean, I'll always.
well, what's to say about Running Man that hasn't been said?
Special place in my heart.
What was that movie that was on HBO back in the beginning that was about a cop in Florida who trips and accidentally shoots a test nuke overhead that irradiates him?
I have no idea what you're talking
There was like,
Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it was a comedy. It wasn't Super Troopers. and it
Super
wasn't
Fuzz.
Super Fuzz.
Super Fuzz starring Terrence Hill, one of my favorite Italian actors.
And Ernest Borgnine.
Yep. And the only reason Ernest Borgnine must have been in it is because Bud Spencer was fucking busy that week or something.
They're-
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
They were just
Because there was always Spencer and Hill.
he was just always like, "Oh, you gonna pay me what? All right." That's what this movie feels like. He catches a bullet in his teeth, fellas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's dumb. You should definitely watch
it's
it.
dumb, but it is so fun. Oh my god, it's so fun.
Yeah, revert to 8 years old. Put that on. Buckle the fuck up.
Yeah, and if you like that, go check out anything else like starring Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer, because it's just going to be in for a good time.
Okay, right. That's fantastic. All right. I guess.
I think.
yeah,
Well,
we got to wrap.
okay, all right.
We got to wrap.
That's couple more titles for you to put on your list.
Yeah, we got a couple more times.
You know what? We should put maybe a vote up to this. Do you think that would be a good idea?
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, just put up a vote. Leave it open to everybody, or whoever, and then because it worked out.
What do
great
you
last
think,
time.
listener?
Yeah, that was awesome last time when I made that whole telephone episode that hasn't come out.
And now
yet.
it's a
Anyways.
fucking
coming.
saga.
It's coming. It's in the pipe.
No,
It's
we
not
got
a
this.
saga.
We'll get
Don't
there.
promise them that. This shit might be 40 minutes long. I don't fucking know. But it's
You see,
trying to find any.
No,
information on
the
this.
telephone
I'm saying that
system
this
is a
this
series of
multi-part.
tubes.
Like,
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
it's not just your episode. We got we have a lot of content, I think, for this one.
No, for sure. Well, like my part of it is just basically going to be me being like pulling out a manila envelope and being Bud Dwyer.
All systems are fully functioning. Running lowlife.exe. System optimization is less than nominal. Server damage detected. Please stop whatever you are doing and make your way to the nearest exit. Technical support is en route. Please vacate the area. I repeat. Please leave. Are you even listening to me? I will shoot you. Error. Server block 3 is experiencing critical ignition.
That's right.
System failure imminent. I hope you are proud of yourself. Initiating the Low Life Podcast.